What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 16 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded not Thorgrim Iron Fist Thorgrim Grudgebearer Old World campaign, though as we saw last time, Thorgrim Iron Fist did get his debut battle with his Slayers, and generally speaking a very Slayer heavy episode as they've started operating in pretty decent numbers, 2 armies with Slayer pirates and got to play, and then Thorgrims of course, as well as the limited number of Slayers that we currently have in Snorri Morgrimel here in this army, which is nearly ready to switch lords and have Snorri go elsewhere to lead Slayers among other things. Anyway, in terms of what we get to do this time around, we, did not complete the turn last time as we still need to fight the last battle of Grundadrak against Queek Headtaker, the last stand of this Grudge Settler army before they disappear for good anyway, so I may as well do it. Of course, Durak himself is at 254 HP, so he may as well be killed here. Otherwise, we have completed the Confederation debuff, meaning we're able to get our last legendary Confederation up and running and get Clan Angrand into the fold. This will mean creating a sort of border with some Cornates down here in the Crimson Skull, as well as these guys, but we were going to have to go after them eventually, and we'll need the additional grudges for the next stage of Reckoning, because I fear it's going to be a lot, as in 41,000 if we don't pause it, and various comments asking that I don't pause it. I mean, I could do that, so I guess we will, and we'll see whether we can make another Nolan Grom happen, or it's reached a point where we have so much territory it's no longer actually possible. Certainly remember reaching that point in my Malachi campaign, though that was before the adjustments to the Age of Reckoning stuff back when it was crazy. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? Who needs to move? I think there was a little ogre army that needed to be destroyed, and I don't remember who was near it, at least not by name. Oh, it was you, Thungni of Zorn, who's temporarily leading this army. Frankly, I don't think you need to actually fight this. It's a garbage little ogre stack with, a pile of Nobbler tier 1 troops. Yeah, no thanks. Auto-resolve that. Quick save and then auto-resolve. I was so good about it last episode and didn't forget a single time, or maybe once. Gotta try to, not screw that up again. We will, I guess, ransom those captives. Alright, that's one army. Decent likelihood there's others, and we'll still have to take up the Horrocks gap, so I guess we're heading right back over there. March stance, stay in our own territory, however, and then go after. Hopefully another ogre army doesn't show up, but considering how weak that particular army was, there's a decent likelihood that one does, so keep an eye on it. Anyway, I believe you're the only one who needed to... no, okay, you don't need to move. Brugard doesn't need to move. Rearguard, no. Dwinbar, I'd love to move you here. I just don't trust you not getting intercepted and killed after we leveled you up to level 10, so let's not risk it. Alrighty, Grothbarok, you're in the same situation. You're just guarding here until the remnants of the Challengers of Khorne are destroyed, so... Alright, let's do the Confederating and then we'll do the fighting. Oh, we also have a quest battle that we should probably do. Maybe we'll start with this one because I feel like I've been teasing that battle for a long time. So, I guess we'll double confed another minor clan. It's going to be either Karak and Norn or... Oh, we're pretty built up in a single full territory in the Shattered Teeth. Frankly, Karak Norn seems to be on the way out. We'll see if they get destroyed or not. Oh, I see. The Clan Spittle Skaven are probably held in a bit of a bind, eh? They're kind of just sitting here at war with both this faction and this faction, and they know that they... Yeah, bit of a standoff. Alright, fair enough. These guys have a lot of armies for the limited amount of territory that we have. Anyway, we will confederate you, and then we'll confederate Belagar as well. Once again, I don't really mind doing this with the minor ones, besides only minor ones will remain after that. After this, rather. Alright, we've confederated them. That dropped our income by, 8,000 or so gold. We're gonna pop into Masters of Steel and Stone here. What do we have, incidentally? Oh, of course... Oh, we did get the engineer capacity. Good. Okay, I'm happy about that. Gotta get those everywhere. And you know what? The Ranger Barracks is a decent pickup as well, because I was looking to keep that. We have a bunch of toolmakers, workshops, and no main public order structure, unfortunately. I'll probably have to switch those to deep mines. Although, if we recruit here, we can keep the toolmakers foundry. I don't know, I'll think about it. This place does generate decent money because of the presence of copper mountains, so it might behoove us to generate more money by building the appropriate buildings. Anyway, one very nice thing about confederating these minor factions is that they all have items, and terrible or not, these are all items that we can, you know, put to use ourselves. You have a Sword of Bloodshed, very nice. Dwarf Bride, Dwarfen Tattooist, and the Banner of Swiftness, that's definitely going on somebody. Overzealous Speed, eh? I'm liking all these speedy banners. Yeah, you know what, we'll keep you around for now. You're a Dowie Tactician as well, so you can lead a potential army if you like. So sit there. What about you two? Alright, you two both have items. Alright, lose all those. Strider, Stalk, and Snipe. Huh. That's just better than the Woodsman's Cloak, or whatever it was we had. Alright, we'll transfer that in a bit. Huh. One weird thing about this faction is they have no heroes. They have all these armies and not a single hero. Huh. Wonder what the deal with that is. Anyway, you. Items. I guess probably the reason why they have so many items is that they are not transferring them to heroes, eh? Alrighty. You guys could actually move and attack the Skaven here immediately if we wanted to, though there's no guarantee that there isn't a full stack of Skaven right here. And Domatberg... Oh! This is a really cool settlement. I think I've seen it before, but I might have forgotten about it. Huh. Wait, so is the only way to get down here actually to go through the water? And where does the canal start? Is it here? Either way, this is a really cool settlement. Now I want to go down there just to grab it, and, huh. I see where the undead thing is coming from, yeah. And we're getting closer and closer, I guess, to the... Oh wow, look at the Ironclaw works. They're doing pretty good. They'll probably declare war on us shortly. We're getting closer and closer to Clan Scryer, preparing for a epic confrontation with the Skaven Empire, which is as it should be. Anyway, these guys, I guess, are gonna sit pretty... For now, I might decide to fight this. I'll think about it. Frankly, these guys aren't worth too much in the way of grudges. We could save the... We could save Khazad Elgazan by attacking. Is a full stack enough to take Khazad Weirworm? Actually, you know what? If we move you here, then these guys could attack without being afraid of getting attacked. Yes. Good, Ruinous, good. Alrighty. We'll deal with that in a second, but let's do the legendary Confed. Belagar, that's you. Ah, wait. Do we have anything we want from you? No, we do not. Alright. Now already we're in the military agreement alliance, whatever. Belagar, Confederate. Alright, we started the episode off with 58,000 or 59,000 gold per turn. We are now down to 48. Well, not horrific. Belagar only had, I think, 3 provinces to his name, so, or not even 3 provinces, 3 settlements to his name, so, yeah, he wasn't worth a lot. But Belagar himself, of course, is a different story. Speaking of, I want to see whether he does anything for anybody except Rangers, as in other than Rangers. Missile block chance, that's kind of interesting. I guess that would only then apply to Bugmans, because it's plus 20%. I assume that this doesn't do anything for units that can't normally block stuff, can they? Physical resistance, Thane capacity. We've got, melee attack for Rangers, Bolt Throwers, and Miners. Maybe we could pop a couple Bolt Throwers in his army. I don't want to go too heavy on it, just because he's, I don't want to get too similar to Grimly's army, though Grimly has the Longbeards. Otherwise, I do like the unit mass. Doesn't help, and neither does the charge, and neither of those help the Rangers. Plus 200% ammunition for miners, eh? Alright, fair enough. And, oh, look at what the AI is doing. Well, look at this. Just what is this insanity? What? I have never seen, and it doesn't even. I have no words. I have no words for how bad AI is with this. And Belgar already has all his items, but this gives us a massive +3 control faction wide. Granted, we're going to reset Belgar immediately because this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. But still, I'll lose that Deepwood branch. It's completely wasted on you, and we'll get you a Talisman of Preservation and upkeep reduction in army. What do we have to do? Sack to settlement? Oh, I should have been sacking settlements all game. I didn't even know that. Oh well. I didn't know that you could get these prospector guys. Scarecrow banner doesn't need to be in this army, I think. Although, well, defending the range units isn't a bad idea. And the Choirmaster and Teller of Tales don't need to be in here. Brewmaster doesn't need to be in here. Standard Discipline I just don't like. And this Razor Standard I think we can maybe keep. Where are your other Ghost Pals? Oh, speaking of, do the Ghost Pals have items? We will do the itemization ourselves. Teller of Tales, terrible. And what do we have here? We have Iron Hammer. You didn't get to your Thane line, but otherwise, all good, I guess. At least this guy. What about you? Lose the items. You got Master Rune of Fury. I think you might, it might be standard on you, and you might start with that, and then nothing else. I didn't get Rune of Oath and Steel, which is pretty darn important, but you're okay as well. As in, we don't have to reset them. What about Halcon have? Ancestral Shield and... The heck? You're level 5. Huh, that's weird. Corrupted by Corn. Honestly, that's not bad. Might actually keep that around. What about Oldus? His name is Oldus. He's hey, a Talisman of Preservation. Huh, I was gonna give that to Belgar. Fantastic. What are you? Incisive? That's a good trait. And you're level 13. We're keeping you. You're 1 level away from the Anvil of Doom, but you do need to be reset, but you're gonna transfer... Actually, just transfer all of this to Belgar and you're good. Alright, you know what? This isn't as bad as I thought it was, minus Belgar himself, so we're gonna move you all forward. And we'll declare war on these guys shortly once Belgar is ready to go. I assume that he can't build rangers here. And yeah, we're probably gonna need to... Okay, you can get rid of this, and I'm probably not going to use this place as a military recruitment center, so we'll get rid of this. We will not need an additional Thane here, but we may need another one in another army, so we'll wait to delete that. And you have a Hammerer unit. I'm wondering whether we should keep the Ironbreakers or just transfer them to another army at a high rank, but we maybe want to get Belgar one of the Everguard. I do like the idea of having all of our, well, as much as we have to spare, all of our lords having a single Everguard unit with them. Even if they don't buff them, it kind of feels appropriate to me. Anyway, you guys will move in. This is the only settlement that we got from Belgar, I believe, which is basically nothing. We also got Karaz-a-Karak, which has some garbage, which we'll delete, and we'll go into, I guess, Masters of Steel and Stone. We can upgrade this Dwarf Keep immediately as well. Oh, we also got Karaz-a-Karak, didn't we? Alright, we had most of this province, but not the entire thing. You need to be upgraded to the next tier, so that we can build Morzend's Wall. Melee defense +1, own armies faction-wide. It is faction-wide at least, even if it ain't much. Alright, well, we can't afford building anything here as yet. That may change, depending on what we do and how we do it. Now, let's start with Durek Grundadrak. You are going to fight your last stand battle against Queek Headtaker. More likely than not, you will lose, because you're at low HP, and, well, yeah, the auto resolve gives it in our favor, but sometimes the auto resolve is lying, and I think we're heavily damaged enough that this is not going to go as well as the auto resolve might think. On the other hand, who knows? Let's quick save, and let's pop into that fight.
Kill trolls, giants, dragons, a greater demon or two. Let's see what surprises today holds.
Technically, you didn't kill the Greater Demon or two, you banished the Greater Demon or two, they'll be back. I think unless you actually destroy a demon for good, does it actually count as killing the demon? I'm not so sure. Not that banishing them isn't great and useful, mind you, but not quite the same level of credit, I'd wager. Anyway, here we go. Last stand of Mr. Durak Grundadrak, son of Herrick Grundadrak, and our second army of Grudge Settlers. We've got Queek Headtaker, Skarbrand Tail, and plenty of units coming in against us. We are heavily damaged, and in the sense that our lord is so heavily damaged, he, well, just plain can't fight. Got a nice little formation, not going to be using our impassable terrain, which would be here, which we could certainly have used, but this is a last stand battle, and it's not like we care about casualties as much, so there's no need to reduce them. Let them hit us hard all across our front line, and see how long we can last. Anyway, Slaneshi giggled throughout that whole speech. Anyway, the Grudge Throwers going to begin their shootout with the enemy, I wanted to say Goblobber, but those are ours, the enemy Plague Claw catapults. Still solid look on the Plague Claw catapults. As in, I like the Warpstone counterweight that they've got going. Because that's a big old chunk of Warpstone. I assume the purpose of it is not just to act as a counterweight. I see a lot of runes around it as well, probably what makes the Plague Claw catapult so plague-tastic and drops that plague goo all over the place. Anyway, said Plague Claw catapult has lost one of its machines, but still has 5 and is about to start shooting back now that it's in range, and the other rats are not getting in the way as much. With only a single Grudge Thrower, it's going to be a while before we can knock it down, and of course our flame cannon is not in range. Looks like the Plague Claws are not going to target our artillery, however, so our artillery will be able to keep firing. Perhaps the enemy decided that they're better off knocking out some of those hammerers instead. The rest of the enemy army is now on the approach. First of the enemy clan rats getting in range of our flame cannon, which will begin burninating them as much as possible. Obviously, the flame cannon or flame cannons in the Grudge Settlers armies don't have that massive range buff that we otherwise would have with an Overseer, so they don't have nearly as long of a time to fire at the melee troops before they close the distance. Still, it should be plenty. You're going to get a couple of shots off on the enemy Grey Seer, and if we had more flame cannons, I would have just allowed the flame cannon to target the Grey Seer and destroy it from a distance, but unfortunately for us, there are other critical units that we have to burninate, namely the Warp Grinders. If we allow them to close the distance and pop off those Warp Quakes of theirs, the Seismic Snare is not as, annoying in this army, and our Dwarf Box in general, but the Warp Quakes very much are, and we can't be having that, so gotta burn those down. And I do mean those, as this is the first unit, and it is now routing, I believe, and we're going to have to switch to the second, which is very much closing the distance, and might actually reach us. Alright, redirected our Quarrelers to fire upon it. We have the Flame Cannon firing upon it as well, and now it's time to move our Thane towards it as well. Looks like the enemy is wise to it and will actually activate the Seismic Snare, stopping the Thane in place, but thereafter wasting its Warpquake and Seismic Snare, where it's not going to be as much of an issue, as one more hit and the unit is out. The rest of the enemy army has arrived, and our army is completely surrounded by rats at this point. The enemy has also managed to break through the lines a little bit, since we're a little bit more exposed than perhaps usual, and is in the back line with wolf rats attacking our Grudge Throwers, but luckily not our flame cannon. The enemy Grey Seer on that Screaming Bell has also moved on through. It just looks like the Grey Seers that are on the Screaming Bells there just always look like they're having so much fun up there, Maybe not as much fun as Nakai, sort of skipping through enemy lines, but this is just the happiest rat, isn't it? All right, well, it's gonna be happy for quite a while, I'd wager. It's going to take a fair bit of effort to bring this thing down, as we just don't have enough armor-piercing range units to do so. And it's got plenty of missile and physical resistance, 10 and 35. All right, wolf rats still interspersed among our bolt throwers, and we are using both our lord and his slayer complement to fight them. Hopefully a couple of bites from those wolf rats don't bring him down, considering he had like 200 HP or something along those lines. The rats are very numerous, sort of echoing the sort of fights that Mr. Thorgrim has had throughout the course of this campaign, horrifically outnumbered, though admittedly a lot of our armies have been horrifically outnumbered by rats, which is exactly as it should be. And considering how fun that sort of dynamic is, I'm really enjoying the Dwarf campaign. Though generally, as soon as we moved into the mid-game, we started getting a lot of variety in terms of whom we're fighting. As soon as we added Khorne and Chaos to the mix, we're essentially regularly fighting at minimum 4, possibly 5 factions in every single episode, which is pretty great. Anyway, looks like that Screaming Bell is nearly out. The Grey Seer of Plague will cast no more. Our Lord did manage to survive and rack up 12 Wolf Rat kills, as he stood there and protected our artillery. And the battle is still on. Our lines are on the verge of being breached in a few places, though with the loss of the Grey Seer, that's probably not going to be so great. The Screaming Bell also provides a nice aura around it, but we'll provide it no more. Oh, the rat goes tumbling down. Anyway, Queek is also in the fight, and Ska Bloodtail is out here somewhere. There's Trur the Plague-ridden, a chieftain, who is currently being attacked by a Thane and surrounded by a heavily damaged unit of hammers. This is one of the units we actually kept back in this particular battle, as they were so heavily damaged they couldn't be on the front lines, but this is exactly the purpose that we saved them for, because they have small numbers and thus could still surround an enemy unit, and there wasn't a lot of, sort of overkill, as in the sense that there weren't a lot of units standing around doing nothing, or overcommitment of resources for the purpose that we wanted them. Anyway, our front line, where Queek is making a breach, 29 Hammerer kills to his name, and Grudge Settler Hammers at that, pretty darn solid. This unit of Hammers nearly gone as well, surrounded by the clan rats that were with the enemy Screaming Bell Grey Seer. Ska Bloodtail surrounded by the Slayer's Grudge Settlers now, and will probably be next on the menu after our Hammers and Thane and our heavily damaged Lord are done with those guys. Balance of power, of course, remains in the enemy's favor, and we continue taking damage, but the enemy has at this point still failed to silence our Flame Cannon, though it did some work on the Grudge Throwers, which are down to maybe 25% of their HP. Still, the Flame Cannon's still firing away, and we gotta get rid of those slingers, mostly because we can't really fire into our front lines, as it's a massive front line with the Dwarfs bravely holding back the Rat Tide. Queek's still at about 60% of his HP and still in the fight, racking up even more Hammerer kills. He's at 33 now. And hey, Queek's time in this campaign may be ending his faction nearly destroyed, but personally going in and killing so many Hammers is a great way for him to go out. Well, I mean, we'll most likely see him again, because this isn't where he dies, but it's a great way for him to go nonetheless. You gotta love Queek, after all. Alright, and he's still in the fight, down to half of his HP now, and 37 Hammerer kills to his name. We've surrounded his best bud, his ride-or-die bestie, Ska Bloodtail here. Both Hammerers and the Thane and the Slayers all here. And Ska Bloodtail is desperately trying to hold them off, but I don't think Big Boy's gonna be able to, and will at last go down. And there we go, knocked out by a blow to the back of the head. Ska is out, Queek is up to 42 Hammerer kills personally now, and down to 30% of his HP. With the fall of Ska Bloodtail, interestingly, the bounce back has shifted massively in our favor to about 65% maybe. We are very heavily damaged all across the board, well, especially our front line, but it's not looking insurmountable anymore by any means. Perhaps the enemy just did not have enough armor piercing to be able to deal with us at this point. We still have and we still have the flame cannon firing. And they really had to knock that thing out because it's been a very long brawl of rats versus dwarfs, and if the flame cannon was firing the entire time, that's a lot of fried rats, isn't it? 784 of them, in fact. And there we go, with that, Queek will break. We are not going to chase him down or kill him with range units because we want to actually get his defeat rate on a lord, not on a grudge settler army. Still, great job to this army, and we're still getting plenty of use out of all of these grudge settlers. I love it. Hey, he got us a Helm of Discord, nice. More importantly, we did manage to pull it off. It's unfortunate to get the defeat trait of Queek on a non-lord. I guess I guess it's too late for that. Yeah, it wouldn't have worked. I was about to say we should have summoned a lord, but we were besieged anyway, so it wouldn't have done anything. Anyway, we somehow managed to survive yet again with this little army, and make sure that Queek doesn't take this particular settlement. I guess we gotta squeeze every, I don't know, drop of usefulness, every drop of beer out of every Dowie's beard, as we need to, as we keep using these grudge settler armies. Anyway, Oath Golden Treasury. What's the point of healing an army that will disappear next turn? Execute and load. Now, Queek will back off. I'm hoping that this guy will back off far enough away that we can attack him without attacking Queek. Because we don't actually want to kill Queek. We want Queek to... yeah, you got the defeat rate. That's funny. Yeah, we'll auto-resolve Morphific and then we'll move back into Spite Peak, I guess, and hopefully Queek will just run away. So that we can kill him at least one more time. With some other lord, it doesn't really matter who, just as long as we get the defeat trait, because we can still chase down Queek. Now, if you go into March Stance, can you return to Spite Peak? Sort. No, you can't. Queek's in the way, eh? Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna attack you anyway. He might attack Spite Peak. The AI does have a habit of being annoying like that. Well, I guess we'll see if he runs or if he attempts to attack it. Watch him just sack it just because he can. I would absolutely not be surprised. Seasoned Campaigner. And yeah, you'll disappear next turn, so Queek might very well... I wonder what happens. Will you disappear as soon as we press end turn, or will it happen as soon as our new turn starts? I don't know. But I guess we'll find out. Anyway, let us build at least some of the important things, i.e. Scrat Mine here, and Scrat Mine here, and... I don't know whether we should invest in Spite Peak, but it's not much of an investment, about 600 gold anyway, so not a big deal. And other than Black Gouge, we can go for the Trading Depot. I mean, we're not really adjacent to a lot of territories yet, but this place will still be able to make good use of those adjacency bonuses. And Karaz, we should probably build that Makazungor. Maybe it's more important than the Trading Depot right now. No, actually, we should actually be able to afford both things, shouldn't we? Because we can do a quest battle that will give us 5,000 gold and then possibly fight with some of our newly confederated acquisitions. As for the quest battle to counteract the Confederation, we'll do 2 now, and then when we're down to 2 more turns, we'll do another one. Which quest battle? I guess it's another Grimbrindle fight, eh? So, Runax of Grimbrindle, that's you. And we have 500 gold to teleport. Skarby's not back anyway, so we can heal up in our own territory. Let's get our points attributed, and then let's get into the fight. Fire and Fury is what we've been using the most of, so we'll keep going through that. And then Runesmith. Max out sharpened weapons for this. Much damage as possible on those Troll Hammer torpedoes. You, I guess, can get Retinue Trainer just to train everybody up, but then return to other stuff afterwards. Airman Morik, you... probably triangulation into acquisition, as opposed to another point in increased mobility. And then you should probably do the same thing, triangulation. We have the most important thing, which is the ballistics calibration. Anyway, that's another quest, so let's give this a read and then let's jump on in. A dread host of chaos, one that has hounded the Norse dwarfs, is deploying for a fight. They wish to spill doughy blood upon the snow, no doubt in tribute to the vile god of rage and murder. However, the dwarf shall not lie meekly in the frost and ice. They are led by the white dwarf, who has placed an oath upon his axe. Only when this legion of the damned is slaughtered will the many entwined runes upon Grimbrindle's weapon burn with power again. The dwarves seem to keep casting down their own weapons and making their runes ineffective until their oaths are complete. Maybe you should stop making your own weapons ineffective. It makes your oaths harder to complete, not easier. Anyway, teleport. And let's see what we got here. Should be a reasonably easy one. Now let's see what Gromby has to say speech-wise. Quick save in case it crashes. Every time. Okay. The White Dwarf faces a massive Chaos army, the likes of which has not been seen in many years. Grimbrindle and his throng steel themselves for the task ahead. He is glad its ranks are so numerous, as he must slay so many to fulfill his oath.
Right, my northern kin, let's get about this. These chaos-loving Umgi are in need of a reckoning, all right. I have an oath to fulfill, so don't mind me if I'm greedy, but I need to kill lots of crudgy braggarts to get my axe channeling the runes. I promised Grimnir there'd be a mighty tally, and I ain't one for breaking such an oath, so come on, let's have 'em! Let's get about this. I promised Grimnir there'd be a mighty tally, and I ain't one for breaking such an oath. So come on, let's have 'em!
Alrighty, here we go. I question this golden obelisk in the middle of the battlefield here. Are we facing Slaanesh is my question, but apparently not, just Chaos Undivided. Still, here we go. I'm really liking the dynamic of having Grimbrindle get multiple quest battles, or basically having a quest battle every episode. Been pretty fun so far. It looks like there is an enemy army arrayed against us, but there's more armies that are going to move onto the field, and we're just going to assume that, like usual, they will be hitting us from various angles. So, we're dwarf boxed up and ready to reposition if needed, which we can do quite quickly as we move at a pretty rapid pace due to the buffs from Grimbrindle. We're going to start the battle off as usual with our Grudge Thrower or Trollhammer Grudge Settlers in order to try and knock out the enemy range units. Frankly, in terms of the army's composition, the enemy range units, or at the very least the Marauder horses, are probably only a threat to the gyrocopters, so we're essentially knocking them out so that they're not a threat to the gyrocopters themselves, which means that the rest of the army will have to contend with the rest of the enemy. Which is fine, especially considering that we're not using a lot of gyrocopters in this particular army. Even if Grimbrindle buffs them with additional defense and stuff, and I think I want to say missile damage, but anyway. And don't want to overdo it on the gyrocopters. Fun and super effective as they may be. Anyway, another unit of Marauder horses streams on by with trying to outrun perhaps those homing Trollhammer torpedoes, but I don't think that's going to happen. A few of them getting machine gunned down by the Gyro Bomber, who is still trying to rack up that XP. It is at rank 8. 8,700 more XP to go until it becomes the command unit, the Thunder Barge, for this particular army. Thorgrim and Grimbrindle will definitely have one. Obviously, Malachi will have 2, plus the Spirit of Grugny, since they're his babies. Well, the Spirit of Grugny is his baby, and... what did we name the... I'm going to try to remember some of the names from the Malachi campaign, but anyway, thinking back to the other lords, Ungrim probably doesn't need a Thunder Barge, though admittedly, it might be nice in theory to have a unit that can actually chase down enemy missile troops, as in enemy missile cab. We saw last episode with all that Mohawk madness, the struggles of Ungrim's army when they couldn't do anything about Spider Riders or Wolf Raider archers or missile chariots or anything like that, and even a single barge could take care of that. What about Belagar? Yeah, Belagar could use one as well, potentially. I mean, having a single command unit and all the command barge for all the legendary lords isn't too bad of an idea. And I mean, who's gonna grow tired of seeing a Thunder Barge work? And with only one, especially since all of those armies, most of those armies, don't have an air force to support them, they wouldn't be able to quite be the same level of menaces that they would be in other armies. Certainly an option. Anyway, I'll think about it. For now, though, we've got the enemy armies' reinforcements arriving. I'm just going to speed this up while they move on. We're going to reposition very, very slightly. Just move a tiny bit higher up on this hill so that the enemy has to essentially go further up the hill in order to get to us. Alrighty. The dwarf box is ready. The torpedoes are drawing a bead upon the enemy. And just about ready to get their first shots off. There we go. Oh, and I just saw one of the dwarfs in front of them explode. That's not good. Oh, somebody best be taking the Slayer Oath now. Anyway, Trollhammer torpedoes, of course, they only kill 1 unit per hit, generally speaking, so they're not super useful against very numerous infantry, but that's what the flamethrowers are for. And we've got the flamethrowers as well. Frankly, it probably should have been the opposite, as in the flamethrowers should have been grilling the marauders, and then the Chaos Warriors should be hit by the Trollhammer torps, but that's alright. Anyway, here come the enemies. Now, this is probably the most dangerous location for the enemy to hit, since there isn't a melee unit protecting the corner of Iron Drakes. Though then again, we gotta remember that Grimbrindle's Iron Drakes have 63 melee defense, and later on, once we start spending Oath Gold on runes and more aura stuff, we'll get a few more auras, making this dwarf box even more powerful. Alright, Iron Drake standing together with engineers and with the Iron Breakers as well, all looking fantastic. It'll be a little bit of a while until we evolve the other units, the Longbeards and such in this army, into more Iron Breakers. If it starts taking too long, I might just build them. I'll think about it. Anyway, in the meantime, I believe the enemy lord has been defeated, mostly by Grimbrindle, and then partly from a few extra hits from the rest of his units. Trollhammers and flames continuing to obliterate all those enemies that dare close the distance. And the enemy not having enough melee attack to deal with our units of Iron Drakes, even in melee, because of their buffs. Now, we did keep a unit of Thunderers back. It's not really participating as much, though, funnily enough, the Beastmen Warhounds did attempt to charge it, because this unit is meant for deletion and replacement. So it's just there as a temporary sort of seat filler type of deal. Anyway, it looks like we got some Chosen with great weapons attempting to break through the line of Longbeards. It's lucky for us that the Chosen went for the Longbeards rather than for the Iron Drakes, because there, they actually could have broken through. Fortunately for us, since they didn't, Trollhammers and Iron Drakes with flamethrowers will fry them, and even the Chosen will fail to do anything, and with that, the enemy army will break, and the battle is ours. Dwarf Box was sufficiently able to hold, and the enemy did not have sufficient numbers to breach it. If they had another maybe army appearing from the back, that would have gone a lot worse, but alas for them, they only had 3 sides to attack, so we dealt with them just fine. Alright, there we go. Nice little quest fight. We took a tiny bit of damage, but otherwise no problem. I did like that the AI attacked from multiple directions. They just didn't have sufficient troops to ensure the success of their assault. Execute and loot, of course, for the money and the little bit of Oath Gold. We need every bit that we can get of each. And we'll see whether Skarbrand returns next turn. We got the Rune Axe of Gromby now, and you can I mean, I guess you can encamp, or you can, I keep thinking you need to channel, but, well, obviously not. I mean, you could go into Valet as well for now. And let's hope that Fregnus gets replaced next turn. Alright, Ruinous of Grimbrindle, and then that is mission complete. We got 2 turns of our rewards, and then we'll do another quest battle, hopefully at the start of next episode. Now, we got a little bit of cash from that. And in order to make sure that Karak Norn doesn't die and lose its territories, forcing us to have to rebuild them, though frankly they don't seem to be doing too well anyway. But I suppose I'd still like to get the Confederated Lords because they will have items and stuff for us. And we should probably declare war on Clan Spittle, who have 4 territories. So I guess we'll do that. Karak Norn, we will join your war against Spittle for money, and I guess we'll do the defensive alliance so that you can actually give us a vision of what the heck is going on over there. We'll be your minor faction, so we'll be confederating you anyway. Reclaiming the realms doesn't just mean reclaiming lost holds, it also means bringing all the clans into the fold. And clans of Karaz Ankor unite. Anyway, looks like, well, they do have a full stack there, so Brawn Iron Pick will probably be able to defend this, but nonetheless, you guys, temporarily though it may be, are going to attack Mr. Rat. I love that name. Definitely seen it before from the name generator, but it always brings me great joy. Anyway, you're gonna move in. Let's see if these guys are willing to fight. I'm willing to bet that they're not. The AI has a bad habit of building, or it's spamming. Oh, are you unable to reach them? Oh, okay, you're unable to reach them. The other guy can attack. Or can he? Huh, that's interesting. Really? That ain't great. Oh. He can't go past the other guy. Meaning we have to attack one by one, but if either it's this army that should attack with the flame cannons against the rats, not this army. What can we do about this? We could besiege Grung Ikri, which would allow you to move in, but then canceling the siege wouldn't do anything, would it? I don't think so. We could see what's there, if it's a walled settlement or not, if nothing else. Alright, fine. Besiege Grung Ikri, let's see what's going on here. We shouldn't go around it like that, and ooh, the actual garrison there is pretty solid. While you... do we have a defensive garrison building? No, it would be a pretty big... Oh, now you're able to move on in. And you have plenty of space. Alright, if you go here, will you reinforce? You will not. Huh, wait. If you do this, what'll happen? This guy will run. Okay, okay, we can do this, we can do this, we got this. Nobody panic. Alright, now you are going to reinforce, and then you will attack the main settlement, meaning, there we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 rat stacks, mostly Skaven slaves, mind you, but we got mostly basic troops in the, well, actually this should be fine. It's just going to be a lot of enemies. The Doomflayers and the Doomwheel are going to be the biggest issues, but, oh, they got another Doomwheel in there. It's not like we have Troll Hammers or anything like that, so slowing those guys down is going to be an issue. The main thing will be to try to prevent them from reaching the flame cannons. Alright, let's quick save in case it crashes, and let's fight this. It's gonna be a good fight. Oh, engagement threshold, 300 likes, 50 comments, hour long, etc. Hour adjacent. Go.
Kill trolls, giants, dragons, a greater demon or two. Let's see what surprises today holds.
Alrighty, here we go. Our random assortment of troops from our 2 armies versus 4 Skaven stacks. 2 versus 4. And we have sort of a mid-tier, mid-level, mid-game army. Well, armies, I should say, between the 2 of ours. We'll see if they can hold off the rat tide here and give us a nice fight. It's, what, 11, 12,000 enemy rats against us? Should be pretty darn interesting. If nothing else, and there is no way, absolutely no way we fry them all before they reach our front lines. Anyway, it looks like the enemy is going to wait for its reinforcements to arrive on field. They're actually coming in from 3 or 2 other directions, which is going to be pretty interesting in and of itself. But that works for us because it'll allow, hopefully, our own reinforcements to reach us. The battle will start with a little bit of an artillery shootout, as it often does. Grudge throwers facing off against the plague claw catapults as they both arc shots. It looks like we're having a little bit of a tough time penetrating those trees with our stone projectiles, and the enemy has an easier time, it seems, to actually fire their own plague claw projectiles. I generally don't know what to call the plague claw projectiles. The plague goo at our own units. They're down to about half HP, but that's a minute and 40 seconds of straight-up bombardment from our unit. And that's a fair bit, you gotta admit. Actually, from 2 units. Nearly 2 minutes from the grudge throwers to destroy a single artillery piece. Yeah, those trees are really working for them. I do have to wonder how many of those shots got blocked from the enemy as well, but some did impact our front lines. Anyway, fortunately, it looks like this artillery piece is nearly done, and I think we've seen enough of this base form shootout, so we're going to speed this up a little bit as the armies reposition themselves, and we position ourselves as well. Alright, and the second artillery piece is firing away on us. This one, of course, not protected by those trees, so while it will hit a few units, I'm sure, it's not going to be able to survive nearly as long without the interference of those projectiles. Anyway, the first of the enemy units are going to charge forth, and it looks like they'll draw into range before our units of Thunderers with Grudge Rakers get there and are able to fire. Unfortunate, but well, what can you do? Our Quarrelers will hopefully do a decent bit of work instead. And there we go. Here come the Grudge Rakers. Hopefully they can get off a few shots here. In position. And here come the blasting charges, and the Grudge Rakers appear to not be firing, unfortunately. And neither of this one is okay. Flame cannon, please don't do that. You gotta babysit those things sometimes, or else they don't work. Alright, at least the Drake guns, or at least one of the Drake guns units, is firing way more blasting charges heading into the enemy army, and that's a big old front of enemies attacking us from various directions. As you can see here, however, despite having targets, these 3 Drake guns aren't firing. You may also be noticing these Thunderers aren't firing, and the back line of Quarrelers aren't firing as well. Those who remember, well, it happened, I don't remember which campaign it happened last, but it happens on occasion. Basically, there's a bug in the game wherein if you have too many units on screen, I don't know if it's related to how good your PC is, because my PC is somewhat old at this point, but anyway, and wherein the units can no longer fire, as in there's not enough resources to tell them to automatically do their job, and it gets to a point where even telling them to fire will not have them fire. So, as of this moment, all of our range units have grown silent, with the exception of some of the ones that have been told to directly fight things. It seems the Quarrelers are still working, and the artillery are still working, but not all the Quarrelers, and none of the Thunderers are firing away, which is not good. It's not good, because we really needed them to knock out the single entities like this Doomwheel and stuff, and we don't have elite units of melee like we might normally. Not like we have a bunch of hammers on the front line, so things like miners and dwarf warriors are going to have to contend with Doomwheels and Doomflayers riding around, and of course being horribly outnumbered as well, without the range units to make up for the difference. Does look like the occasional range unit will fire, but it's very few and far between. So not firing, not firing, not firing. Alright, balance of power still very slightly in our favor, however. We were able to do a little bit of damage with our range units, and at least I'm just thankful that the flame cannon is still able to fire away. I'm actually surprised that this is the first time this has happened in this very campaign, considering that it is a... I mean, it's been a present bug, but I guess we haven't had... I guess this is the first battle where we've brought 2 full stacks to a battle against 4 enemy Skaven stacks. We have faced off against 4 enemy stacks before, but not with 2 stacks of our own. That said, as the enemy numbers start to dwindle, as our own numbers start to dwindle as well, slowly but surely, individual units are freed up as, I guess, more processor resources or whatever are devoted to them, and they begin firing as well. Our Quarrelers have begun to fire. I believe a couple of our Thunderer units are now firing as well. And that means if we can completely hold off the enemy melee troops, our army will actually get stronger and stronger as the enemy army gets weaker. Ooh, I like the color scheme on those Storm Vermin. The dark blue is working for me. I actually think I like their dark blue color scheme more than our bright blue color scheme. On the other hand, camouflage is color of fear and all that. The bright colors make us nice and visible, come get us, and all that sort of thing. Which ain't too bad either. And it is, if it's Thorgrim's faction's colors, Karaz-a-Karak's colors, it is the King's colors, so all the dwarfs should wear them proudly. And allow the rats to see them from a distance. Anyway, looks like a lot of our range units have begun to fire. We can see they've started to run out of ammunition. This Thunderer unit still has most of it, but, you know, the Thunderers seem to be the latest into actually being able to fire. Interesting that the regular Thunderers start activating their fire later than the Drake guns do. I wonder why that is. Not that it's super important or anything. The Doom Flares have been an absolute havoc this time, and the same with the Doom Wheels, of course, and that's exactly what our regular Thunderers were supposed to be focusing down for this entire battle, but without them firing, those Doom Flares have been causing havoc. Wait a moment. 155 kills and 21,000 damage on the Doomflayers. Gotta be impressed with it, and they're a really fun unit. I really enjoy the combination of Doomflayer and Skullcrackers in the Drajueth, the Ashen Chaos Dwarfs campaign. It's a really, really nice combination. And next time I play Rats, I think I'm gonna try to lean a little bit heavier on the Doomflayers, since I didn't get to play around with them nearly as much last time I did the Skaven. And they're just such a fun unit. Alright, that said, it looks like the balance of power is vastly shifted in our favor now at about 70%. The blasting charges are still flying. Even the blasting charges were silent for a while. We can see a lot of the miners have full ammunition as well. And we are now repositioning our range units since we can actually expect them to fire away. At the very least, the Quarrelers can fire away. Thunderer is having a little bit more of a difficult time because they need the appropriate positioning to fire. They were supposed to stand back and fire at those large units, but that didn't quite work out. Oh well. And what the heck were you throwing those blasting charges at? Were there like one rat? Was there like one rat there? What the heck? Oh, hit a lot of friendly fire there. Anyway, as we can see, enemy reinforcements are still arriving on the field after, what, I don't know, 7 or 8 minute brawl. On the bright side, though, they have a fair distance to travel, and we do still have ammunition on those grudge throwers of ours, using their shrapnel projectiles right into the midst of the approaching enemy blobs. Another unit of the Warp Flayers, or Doom Flayers, rather. I think this is a different one. Only 106 kills, but still 20,000 damage. Now moving in, but this time the range units are actually able to focus fire them and bring them down. Now, honestly, the bug kept this battle quite a bit more interesting than I was expecting. And look at the damage on our front line. Our front line very nearly buckled. Nearly every unit is somewhere between 10 to 15% HP. If the enemy just had a couple more units of Storm Vermin, a couple more units of Plague Monks, rather than Clan Rats, they would have been through our lines and into the back line. That said, it would have meant that the range units that weren't firing were actually doing stuff, in the sense that while they weren't firing, they can still, I believe, fight in melee just fine. And frankly, maybe what I should have done is, having noticed the bug, just sent the range units, the Quarrelers and stuff, into melee to block the enemy off, and change the formation. Not a big deal, though. At the end of the day, we're good, and, well, the balance of power is only about 60% in our favor, but I think we're soon going to reach that critical mass, wherein the army has suffered enough losses. Lord is dead, very tired. As soon as we start seeing army losses, I think the enemy army will break. There are still a few units running around where the center enemy line attacked us, but there's not much left here, and it's mostly the reinforcements coming over that hill. And any units that are close here can still be burninated by our flame cannons. They do good work, you gotta admit. And there we go, Doom Wheel comes around. This time we can focus it down with range fire. This is what I was expecting in terms of when the battle started, rather than allowing those Doom Wheels to actually move into our line, completely uncaring of any damage. And let's see, the rats have seen the Doom Wheel fall, but looks like army losses aren't there. Confident? Huh, I wouldn't be so confident, rats. Certainly our front line is basically non-existent at this point, but our range units are mostly at full HP, with the exception of a couple units that had to fight in melee. And that mostly against the Doom Wheels and the Warp Flayers. Doom Flayers? Warp Flayers? Every time, every single campaign, I just can't shake it. I always say Doom Flayers and Warp Flayers. I mean, it's Skaven. It's either Warp or it's Doom, okay? Alrighty, and there we go. And I don't think the enemy has any more Doom Flayers to do anything to us. Oh, still have plenty of those blasting charges for the enemy attempting to charge us now, and quarrels dropping from the sky, and there it is. Wavering army losses. It looks like the enemy army is pretty much done for. Just a couple more seconds and the rat horde will break at last. And there we go. There they run. I'd wager we won't be able to kill off, well, there's no way to tell which of these are the reinforcing armies units. That is the non-march stance reinforcing army. So we don't know who to target in order to who to kill. So that army will escape, but the settlement army won't escape, and the march stance army won't escape. So the settlement should fall, and we should be able to save Karak Norn this way. Nice. Ooh, alrighty, a really nice, unexpectedly nice fight, considering that, it's just from the Confederated troops there. They'll be turned into, you know, different troops in order to cobble an army together at some point. Well, we'll probably need several armies, and we've also got the Wood Elves nearby. Decent chance that they declare war on us because of the stupid amounts of aversion. And yeah, otherwise, 3,000 versus 11.5 thousand rats. Pretty darn good. It was very touch and go there for a minute, however, as due to the range units not firing bug, none of our range units were firing there for a while. There were too many units on the map, and that prevents them from doing anything. And it did mean that a lot of our range units didn't start firing until the latter portion of the map, or the battle. And that certainly didn't help so much, especially on a few of those Thunderers. But oh well, they started firing eventually, and at least the artillery were still working. Granted, they had to be babysat and told who to fire upon, but nonetheless, worth it. Anyway, we will occupy the place, I guess. And this little army survives. Hey, who knows? Maybe maybe a Brock Iron Pick will actually go after them. Alright, got a free obsidian amulet, don't need it, gonna turn into something more useful, and I take it you can... Oh, actually you just can chase down Compule. See if you can't get another item for free then. Oh, never mind, he's gonna back off. Okay, well now you should definitely be able to kill him off. I also got Golgi up here who... Wow, these guys really don't like each other. And there's potential for that, huh? Why don't these guys then ambush this little army? We shall see. We don't know who else is nearby, and in such, we're gonna move Mr. Kazran Grimbrow. You know what? Go into Kazid Weirwarn and just stay there for now. Alright, not gonna modify any of the buildings in this particular location. Oh, yeah, this is where the canal starts. Not gonna modify any of the buildings. Oh, I guess it goes through this territory and ends up elsewhere, out here somewhere perhaps? Interesting. Yeah, wait, right? That's what it looks like it does. Anyway, not super important. I forgot what I was saying, but yeah, we're not gonna do anything with the settlements right now. There isn't any need, and while we will make adjustments, we need to make sure that the territories are safe to a reasonable degree before we do so. They're also costing us an insane amount of money right now, so we will we'll need to deal with that. King Azrael getting ready to move north until we get other units in his army. Let's see what else needs to be done in this particular turn. We did get a little bit more cash coming our way from all that fighting, though. And that's a good thing. I'm pretty sure I checked everybody, but I'm just double checking in case. And, oh, since the Confederations, we might have gotten vision of other factions, which might mean Golden Order Alliance. I'm going to say hold off on this for now. One, they might be occupying dwarven territories in the Badlands, which we can't have. And two, I'm willing to wager they're going to be somewhat upset with us once they realize that we're going to... probably, if we end up doing the legendary anti-elven grudge, probably go after Teclis. The rest of this I think we can ignore, so while there is potential for some of these guys, we're not going to deal with it right now, at least not yet. Alright, hold off on that, let's spend some of the money. We know that this particular territory, the new territory, had required some investment, so let's get a few investment then. Karaz-a-Karak. We should probably build either a mine or a trade good building. I mean, we don't really need a monument of Grimnir here, especially now that the Skaven corruption is gone, and Karaz is in a pretty darn safe location. I think we have sufficient capacities to not need you right now, so we'll deal with that, and we will build both the mine and then I guess the trading depot as well. Start with... let's say start with the mine. Yes. Alrighty, and then immediately upgrade Spite Peak as well, because we wanted to... we want that gem mine upgraded as well. You can go for the trading depot, a little bit more expensive than I'd like perhaps, but better than nothing. And we have 7,000 gold remaining. There should have been another territory wherein we might be able to get a little bit of investment going. Somewhere around here. Karak-Yar, oh, well, we should probably actually upgrade Karak-Ziflin immediately so that we can get the Skarsnik Slayer up and running. Why are we helping Skarsnik again? But no, this is a little bit too expensive right now, so we'll hold off on that. Grim Peak. Well, we could build the Mecha Zungor at least at Grim Peak. It's not going to be crazy expensive. Well, these things will be kept for now, and you do already... well, you have the mine for now. That's not going to last. And hold off on the trading depot, because it's an expense that we don't necessarily want to... go with right now. Otherwise, I think we're okay. Well, we can upgrade a few of these mines as well. It's extra money per turn. Why not? Dwarf Keep and I guess another mine upgrade. And there we go. That's all the cash we got, which means we can end another turn, right? Skip. Deep upgrade available. Deeps, rather. Oh, yeah, but we can't upgrade these until we upgrade this, so we'll... I mean, we can, but I don't want to make use of the presumably bugs, so we'll just hold off on that. Alright, skip, and let's end the turn. I wonder whether we can get attacked anywhere. It's a distinct possibility, it's just that we have started to get a lot of territory and, well, no clear thing. Ooh. Malachi, we wanted you to get a Thane and a possibly... or actually a Runesmith. Oh, there's an unhinged one. And possibly a Thane. And definitely a Master Engineer. We do have the capacity now, but we don't have the right type of engineer for you. We also need Grimly to get engineers. Everybody needs engineers. Alright, we'll work on that next turn. Alright, a new age of reckoning is upon us, and a new army spawns in a pretty decent place, I gotta say. Alright, and let's see, before it was 41, moment of truth, it is now 85,000. I think that's not possible. 20 turns to get 85,000 with only 1,000 max for a lot of places, and like, look at this. You can defeat 4 stacks and take a settlement and barely get 1,000. And you need 85,000. Some of the Orky territories are worth a lot, but a lot of other territories are worth basically nothing. We will try to complete a few legendary grudges. How are you only worth 444? So salty that Berkvar isn't even worth 1,000, but, well, we'll still give it a shot, do our best, no delays, enter a new age. And I suppose if we end up knowing that we'll fail, if that happens, at least with like 2 turns remaining, we could always demolish this thing at Karagaloon and then pop up the Hall of Remembering. There is that possibility. Anyway, Supervisor, Constructor, Ally begins outpost construction, they have a tendency to do, and... Durgrim Berdrig, Guildmaster. I don't remember who you are, but sure. Rourke Whitebeard, Master Engineer. Now, are you a new tech thief, perhaps? You are a wayfarer. So yes, you are. Specialist and steel tech and block army and a little bit into wound. And you shall be a new tech thief and you shall steal from the vamps. Stonemason, powder maker, stonemason, and an anvil of doom for some guy somewhere. Tech thief. Alrighty. And go to Fort Brocker, watch him get immediately killed. I would not be surprised. It's happened many a times before. No, this guy's better than that. Good job. Alright, good job, Tech Thief. And you know what? Let's move all the Tech Thieves while we're at it. I don't even remember if I moved the Tech Thieves last turn. I can't believe this guy's wounded for 8 turns, now 6, but good lord. You're gonna fail, but you still have 2 turns, so you got 2 more chances to succeed. Alrighty, you, Ghost Pals, and Belagar. Alright, Ghost Pals and Belagar. Belagar and the Ghost Pals. Dibs on the man name. You're gonna move into Valea's Sorrow. You are going to, I guess, move into the army next turn, not right now. And then you're gonna need to swap some units around. Like so. Alrighty, so I don't think Belagar needs Iron Drakes, that's for certain. These guys can be turned into warriors. The Quarrelers with great weapons don't really have a place here. We'll transfer these. I believe regular Quarrelers can be turned into Rangers. As to Bugmans, we're going to have to wait and see. We need to lose 4 more units here for now. Change it up later. These guys can be turned into stuff. You at rank 3 and you at rank 4 are probably the least useful. And then you at rank 6 because you're a basic rather than one of these miners. Not useful as well. Once again, we will want to get rid of the Iron Drakes. It's just that until we build whatever else we want to put into Belagar's army, we don't necessarily, want to do that. So, lose... We have a Runesmith, all the gold pals, the Ghost Pals, rather. Alright, I'll take these guys out. Frankly, you don't need the hammer unit either, but, Alrighty, oh, I didn't give you the ghost. Kept talking about the Ghost Pals and I promptly forgot to give you the ghost. Now, you. Are you able to upgrade into a ranger? You are. Alright, one of you will go into rangers with great weapons. You two will go into regular rangers until we have bugmans. Bugmans are available at rank 5, meaning you two are both able to bugman up. Like so. Alright, then, well, the Iron Drakes are fine as they are. Dwarf Warriors, you should be upgradable into Quarrelers and thus into Rangers. I assume that any type of Quarreler can do this. Upgrade into Regu Rangers, into Bugmans whenever you can. You're at rank 5 as well, so you can Bugman up. Alright. I guess the Bugmans Rangers are just superior in every way, aren't they? They're both tier 2, but there's... Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a reason to use the regular Rangers over the Bugmans, and just out of curiosity, are the Great Weapons also able to Bugman up? They are. Alright, you can Bugman up then. And the rest is good. I'm not entirely sure what else we're going to put into Belagar's army, because I do want to put some other stuff in his army, but I guess we'll decide later. Hammerers, I guess I could stick around for now. I kind of, maybe change to Ironbreakers. Like so. It's kind of interesting that it seems that every lord starts with a unit of Ironbreakers now, but yeah. I don't want another bolt thrower in there temporarily, at least. Might as well. We could also just, go significantly heavier on the bolt throwers here than we did in Grimly's army. It's another possibility. Oh, wait. Belagar also buffs the miners, doesn't he? We could give him some miners. Rangers, bolt throwers, and miners. Yeah, you know what? Why not? And we also will need to reset him, but we'll do so next turn. Take the miners, lose the Iron Drakes because we're not having you rely on them. And I guess this miner as well. That'll be 20 out of 20. Okay, lose, I guess, the Rangers with great weapons now because you probably don't need them. Alright. And then this way you will have 4 miners with blasting charges led by a single Iron Breaker, kind of similar to what Grimbrindle's going, but he's going to go with 5 Iron Breakers. And then a decent amount of Rangers and some bolt throwers. And of course this hero in this army as well. And then if we need to make adjustments, we'll make adjustments, but it'll be a little bit different than just a full army of Rangers melting enemies away at maximum range. I think I like that more. And I might remove 2 of the mine. I'll think about it. I was also thinking about swapping out the iron breakers for a... okay, you can delete these 2. Swapping out the iron breakers, but keep these. I think we'll find a place for them. In fact, high-rank iron drakes. I think we'll deliver them to King Azrael. Yeah, that'll be the way to do it. Also, do we have a spare lord that we can take Belagar's place with right now? Because we need to reset him. A decent one as well. We could do you, Skeggy Threxen. Let's do you. Alright, Belagar, time to reset, bud, because this is stupid. Reset. And Skeggy Threxen was the name. You, in here. Take control of the army for now, including the Ghost Pals. You will start traveling this way to deliver these units to other armies. Alright, happy with that. Now, let's start from, I assume, the top, unless there was something else that we needed to do. I was gonna have you go to Kiritaman's tomb. Okay, so go to Kiritaman's tomb in your current state then. Might as well upgrade this mine while we're here. Reasonably cheap. Oh, wait. I guess you were in this territory before. No, you were in the same territory. Oh, what, did you pass to a different territory? Troll's Eggs. No. I don't know what the heck that was. I guess you just changed from Troll's Eggs to Kiritaman's tomb, meaning it's irrelevant. You, Thorgrim. You're gonna jump right here, in range of all of these undead, and I want them all to attack you at once. There we go. Let's hope that they do so. You, Kadri Asgel, will probably take Mork's Club, though I guess the main issue there is that you're gonna have to fight it manually, because otherwise you'll take damage, and we can't have that yet. Besiege it, we'll deal with that later. Or possibly between the episodes, or possibly I'll just fight it manually, we'll see. Not super important right now. Alright, Thorgrim's moved, and hopefully he'll get attacked by all of those armies at once. These guys are building units up at Omdra's lair again, but I'm just gonna hope that that they won't get enough units in the time that it takes to knock down Darkhold and come back. So we're gonna move here, and we'll see about these guys. Still find it very weird that all greenskins give us a decent amount of grudges, but the Chaos Dwarfs barely give us any grudges at all. You would think, if anything, I would think that Chaos Dwarfs might even should be maybe worth even more than any other kind of factions. It looks like this guy's still running around. We can't deal with him, but he'll keep raiding our territory. But we should go after Queek, who's gone northward to Sump Pit. Alright, you know what? You, go chase after Queek. I assume you can't reach him in one turn? Not easily. Too bad that army is gone. We could have chased it down. Alright, you gotta recruit more anyway, so you are gonna pop into this army for now. You are going to chase after Queek, and who knows, we might be able to intercept him and catch him with the gun army while the rest of the guns are being recruited. Speaking of, Thunderers for you. And we'll need one more engineer here. What do we have here? Harazi, Entrenched, and Wayfarer. I don't like any of those. The Entrenched one does need to be in an army, but not in this army. I guess we can put one Entrenched one into King Azrael's army. Actually, speaking of, King Azrael. Get started on that Council of Thanes. Just the 2 for now, and this is a Runesmith, right? Yeah, right. Thane, Runesmith. This army will need a bunch of other modifications, but, you know, we'll do that later. For now, you're going to move up north and get ready to move towards the Skaven, who I believe we're at war with. You stay here, we'll get you, well, we'll get you recruiting once we have the capability of building Frostworms at 4th Frostworm, and then whatever else we want to put in this army. The Drake guns are just temporary. Alright, oh, techs. Let's pick a tech. We are going to go, I believe, for either heavy armor plating. You know what, I do like the missile resistance. Ooh, ammunition for artillery means more ammo for those goblin hewers. Okay, I do like that, I will admit. Alright, and let's get back to doing stuff in order. Snorri Morgrimel. Assuming we don't need you to go after Queek immediately, let's have you chase down Kalash. We can't have him running around raiding us, causing public order problems everywhere. Now, because his faction is destroyed, he was willing to fight. Should have probably moved in the others to leech the XP, but not a huge deal. Alright, and we will auto-resolve. And bid farewell to Arbal's faction, destroyed by the Axe Storm. I guess if you're here, drink to victory. You were victorious after all. Alright, Challengers of Khorne destroyed. You will move... Actually, you're probably good where you are. Even further than that. Alright, Dwinbar Ranulfson, you are the one who is going to now take command of this army. Not the entirety of it, but a lot of it. All of this, minus the 2 Slayers, and we're going to keep the Dragon Slayer to command the Goblin Hewers. So I guess that's it. Like so. Alright, now you're at 18 out of 20. 19 out of 20 will be the Grudge Thrower, Grudge Settler, which I wanted in this army, and then 20 out of 20 will be the engineer, the last engineer. Ideally another metal slinger if we can find one, but the reason we wanted to do this, was because you're going to go command a Slayer adjacent army, with Slayers and some other stuff. And you have now made the range go from 80 to 120 on the Goblin Hewers, and the same on the axes. Being able to throw a few more axes everyone's way will come in handy. You, Groth Baruk, will be commanding our long-range torpedo army, but it'll be a little bit until we can get you up and running. We got our fingers in a lot of pies, and I said that like 5 episodes ago, and now we really got our fingers in a lot of pies. Anyway, Grimley. You will want to claim Wolf Forest, rather. We don't really care about it, but okay, wait, let's quick save before we do, just in case it crashes as soon as we occupy the place. Game does have a habit of it. And we'll claim this, mostly because this will just complete the province. It's not like we really care about the place, but, you know. Alright, colonize. And we want this province... Huh, do we have wood anywhere? Oh, wow, you can immediately go to tier 5? That is real nice. Oh, it's because of the double conquest giving us +2/+2. Ah, I like it a lot. All right, go to Great Hold. This will build us engineers. Oh, that's fantastic. I wasn't even expecting this. Malachi, you came here, and I guess you'll be able to get NGs up and running. It's beautiful. I'm very happy. Alright, okay, wait, I wanted the unhinged guy with Malachi, so let's get him on field immediately, and I believe... Oh, we can't build a Thane yet. We could build another engineer, but we wanted the gyrocopter helping engineer, or the war machine helping engineer, and we don't have that available as yet. You, I guess, can lose your last Longbeard, and replace it with a Longbeard with great weapons. I'm almost tempted to say... Since we're now getting more Quarreler armies and stuff, what if we... What if we go a little bit more Longbeard heavy here and then do, instead of 5, do 7 Longbeards? It'll still have plenty of these guys. Well, then again, we'd need to... Nah, maybe that's too many, because then these 2 are going to get removed for engineers to buff up the rest of the range units. And then that will feel like not a lot. Granted, we could just do 1 engineer. We've been doing 2 everywhere else, and it's gonna bother me. Maybe. On the other hand, 5 Longbeards has not been enough to hold everything back. Well, either way, one of these guys will need to be replaced by an engineer. That hasn't changed, so I think we'll get rid of one of the Quarrelers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I feel like we should have 6 Quarrelers, so that probably... Yeah, you know, let's screw it. It's gonna be the Longbeard that's gonna go. Sorry, Longbeard. You're out. And... Oh, you have the capacity reached. That'll be changed in a couple of turns. I completely forgot about the capacity issue. Okay, well, we'll just have to wait for a couple of turns. Let's also upgrade Wolf Forest while we're at it. Well, this is free. This needs to be... Well, actually, no, this is fine because we don't have any place nearby. And you know what? We needed more Bugman's capacity, so this is fine as well. We should also probably build a mine here, especially while it's free. Well, it's not free anymore, but yeah, with 2 lords there, I guess that's a considerable amount of reductions. Fort Ulfegsne. We are going to trade you to these guys because we don't care for it or need it for anything. And we don't really need you to join a war, just give us your money. Alright, enjoy the fort. Hopefully that'll tide you over. Now, I guess that will allow Grimly to move north. Is Skarby back? Yes, he is. Ah, Gromby, you waited, and you were rewarded for it. What do we have at Karaz-a-Karak? Not too much, to be perfectly honest. But it is Skarbrand, and it is Skarbrand's last fight. So, minor fight though it will be, I think I want to fight it because I want to see how those Trollhammer torpedoes do against Skarbrand compared to the Bolt Thrower. Especially since they're not magical damage dealing, so he'll be resistant to it. 20% and... oh, he's got fire resistance and plenty of it. No missile resistance, interestingly, but he might have some as part of his part of one of his traits. And he's heavily armored, too. What the heck? Skarbrand is wearing an engineer's knapsack? I find that hilarious. That amuses me tremendously. Let's kill him.
My northern kin, let's get about this.
Huh, interesting. The formation that we kept, last time Grimbrindle kept this formation was for the quest battle, and the formation got kept and saved. Does anybody know what the situation has to be for the army formation to get saved? Because some of the fancier formations that I do, I really would prefer them to get saved rather than having to redo them every time, because it's a bit of a hassle prior to every battle, but yeah. I can never tell when it's going to get saved and when it isn't. But anyway, all that aside, here we go. Battle is starting. We're going to start off on the enemy Blood Shrine and knock it out with our Grudge Settler Trollhammer snipers, but we are not going to be sniping Skarbrand in this manner. I'd like for him to approach, maybe get a few whacks away at Gromby, but also I want to see how our regular Trollhammers do in terms of bringing them down. Can they sort of stack up against Dalnola's, our a unit of bolt throwers? In the meantime, though, we can still knock out the spawn of corn and just keep annoying the enemy until it is ready to move towards us and rush us with those furies of theirs. And it looks like it is ready to go. And the Furies will begin chasing after all of those gyrocopters and bombers. Of course, they have no real chance of bringing them down. They're pretty heavily armored, and on top of that, we've got fairly decent long-range support. There we go, and the fires and the Trollhammers will knock those Furies out of the sky, and no problem at all, or at least one of the units. The second one will land, but only briefly as it is down to 5% of its HP. Skarbrand is moving forward. Oh, there is another unit of Furies coming in. Let's see how far it gets. Not very far by the looks of it. And down goes this one as well. And here comes Skarbrand, and here comes Grimbrindle. Both activate their faster charge. Ooh, I like that lead up to Skarbrand's charge, the axe throw. You probably just stomp on Grimbrindle. Alrighty, big boy has arrived. And I wanted to get the charge in before activating the Trollhammers to start dropping around, though frankly, it looks pretty decent with the Trollhammers exploding all around Skarbrand as Mr. Gromby stands right before him. Gonna get a few more hits like this. Frankly, Skarbrand is really swinging wide as Gromby is just so tiny by comparison. Alright, and he's still at 10% of his HP. That said, while it may look like Skarby's swinging wide, we can see this. Gromby has lost about 40% of his HP and has had to pop off his potion of healing, and we had to buff him up with Grimbrindle Has No Fear just to increase his melee attack. Not that Skarbrand has insane amounts of melee defense, but 55 is still pretty solid. Gromby down to half HP now. Skarbrand also at half, but in part not just because Gromby's hitting him, but the Trollhammer torpedoes as well. Clearly needed. That said, the Trollhammers will at last bring him down as Gromby holds him in place. Skarbrand screams furiously as he is banished to the Realm of Souls once more. And Gromby down to 40% HP. Very nice. Very nice, Skarby. I don't think Gromby would have won the one-on-one against Skarbrand, at the very least until we invest in his fighty tree. Right now, we started with the faction buffs. We're going into the army buffs. And then his fighty tree, and well, and his unique line, his fighty tree will be last, as we pretty much always do. Alright, well, Gromby had a nice fight. It's time for the rest of our units to join up. Ooh, I love the point-blank flamethrowing the Iron Drakes are doing. Chaos Warriors are taking a little bit of time to get cooked inside those tin can armors of theirs. And they have certainly reached our line because we were so focused on Skarbrand and the air units, it allowed all the Chaos Warriors of various kinds to close. That said, we were keeping a few units back, namely the units of minus blasting charges and the to-be-replaced Thunderers, which were able to then, who started here, loop around like this and start firing into the backs and flanks of all of those units on the front line. Once again, really enjoying the Iron Drakes firing point blank. I almost like it better than them firing at a massive distance. But both are great. And there we go with that. It looks like the enemy Khornate troops have broken. And this was Skarbrand's last show, so we won't be seeing his faction again. We will be seeing Khorne again, of course, but not this particular faction. Unless it gets revived somehow, which I guess is a possibility with Khornate rebels. Huh. I guess we gotta be careful about the territory that we transfer to Boris Ursus because, well, the AI isn't as good as keeping the public order in good stead as we are. Alright, there we go. The banishment of Skarbrand by a single bolt thrower may have been embarrassing, but at the same time, that was a pretty great way for Skarbrand to go in this battle. Without the help of Grimbrindle's trusty Trollhammer core, well, Skarbrand would have killed him. Absolutely. He brought him down to half HP, no problem whatsoever. Granted, we don't have anything in Grimbrindle's fighty tree, but his stats are still pretty darn impressive, so Skarbrand dishing out massive damage to him, pretty impressive as well. Goodbye, Skarbrand. We hardly knew ye. Alright, and another weapon strength plus 5%, own armies, faction-wide, and enemy territory. It's a really nice defeat trait. I mean, you could just farm Skarby all day and then just get obnoxious amounts of weapon strength, assuming there's no actual limitation, and if there is, I don't know what it is. Exiles of Khorne destroyed, Black Blood Pass secured, and we will bump you... yeah, might as well collect the money there, and... oh, we can upgrade Krakow for free, which is great. Get it up to tier 5 as soon as we can as well. Go for Masters of Steel and Stone here for now. Skaven Rebels. Hey, actually, if they win and take the 4th circle, that's 1,000 grudges that will be... that we won't get. And we just took out Skarbrand, and we're still at 0%, eh? He was only worth 500 grudges. Skarbrand, okay. Yeah, I don't think we're making this one. 85 is just insanity, but, well, once again, we'll give it the old college try. Might be able to complete a few of those legendary grudges, which are at least worth 2.5 thousand. I feel like the worth of the legendary grudges maybe should increase over the course of the campaign to help counteract this to some degree. Honestly, I feel like completing a single legendary grudge should probably complete an Age of Reckoning, although, I don't know. Maybe that's too much. Ooh, also, before I forget, Gromby. This Thunderer unit was only in here temporarily, was ever supposed to be replaced by the gyrocopters with Trollhammers, so you're out. Wait. Curious. We can upgrade you. You're supposed to eventually become a Longbeard and then eventually become an Ironbreaker. It's going to be a while before y'all going to be able to get into that, though. Alright, fine. Go into a Dwarf Warrior for now. Keep training yourself up, and then you, Thunderers, much as I hate to see you go, goodbye.
I'm here.
What am I looking for? Oh, right. Grudge Settler units. Gyrocopters, Trollhammers. Alright. And then you, once you rank 9, which you're getting there, you will become Grimbrindle's Thunder Barge. He does upgrade those war machines after all, or buff those war machines. It's just that he doesn't Well, I don't want to go too heavy on the war machines with him, as I've said. Anyway, let's get back to doing stuff in order, shall we? Rearguard Helldauer, you don't need to move. Rearguard Asgal does not. Thungni of Zorn, you are still looking to capture places belonging to this particular ogre faction, so keep on moving around until you do. We'll transfer the Slave Takers camp to these guys for a military alliance later on. And keep doing what we're doing. Thorek, you have taken Usak camp and are now looking to fight. Well, we could occupy some of these Greenskins territories and actually get this little mountain range here if we wanted to. I don't know if they're capable of attacking these guys, although this is a really nice Awa thing that we got going on here. I feel like we still want to move towards that just to fight it, and then we'll see about the territory transfer and all that. So go right here. Also, was I supposed to do anything with you? Oh, you need another engineer, and you needed another one of these corlers with great weapons. Assuming that, well, yeah, we'll still need another one. I was gonna say, assuming we don't give it to Grimly, but yeah, we can get rid of one of these guys, because you have a low rank. And, oh, right, you have an extra Thane in your army as well that is not supposed to be here. Technically, this Thane is supposed to be replaced by an engineer, however, and we do have the capacity, but these are not the type of engineers that would help you. Entrench does nothing for you specifically, and Harazi probably does nothing. I don't imagine you have any fire damage on you. Not really. This one grudge thrower, so I think we'll wait. What are you? You're an oh, right. I wish I could transfer this to Malachi somehow, but it's gonna take like 20 turns to travel through that, travel that amount of distance, so that's obviously not gonna happen. Anyway, this thing, I was gonna have you leave this army. Maybe we should just keep him. I mean, not necessarily in this army, just generally speaking. Oh, once again, you can't leave the army. Okay, screw it, just get rid of this quarreler. And we'll replace the Thane with the engineer.
Hard work'll warm you
Yeah.
up.
I mean, because we're trading quarreler for quarreler here, so it doesn't make that much of a difference. And do that, and do that. Alright. That looks good. Who's up next? Let's see what we were looking at here. Rearguard Asgal, Thorek, Vikram Burdrick. Yes, you are traveling down to Thorgrim. Gotri Holdfast, you are holding fast until we figure out what's going on. Brugard Draxlayer, you're fine as you are. Malachi McKyson, I'd love to move you, but you're waiting to get heroes and stuff, so you're stuck for the turn or the two. Callan Helldauer, you're stuck. Ungrim, you are not. You're going to wipe out these orcs next turn, presumably. Ah, Huglug is moving. Let's try to ambush him. And then, assuming that that's successful, we will, well, not delete you. And okay, I really don't like how these guys are moving through these territories, because they're probably costing us additional grudges, which should be a grudging in and of itself. You can also set up an ambush outside. Well, actually, just sit in this place. Well, you can't take Mount Gunbat anyway. Alright, who's next? Rearguard Holdfast, Rearguard, Callan Helldauer, Ungrim has moved and set up his ambush. Almador Red Axe, you have just moved. Stachel Gundrickson. And Kazran Grimbrow. Okay, so that's these guys. We could check out what's going on here at Domatberg. It may be a ruin, it may be full of rats. Oh! And we're right beside Kemmler now. Huh, that's interesting. Guess we'll have to fight the undead for some of these mountains. Which, you know, fair enough. Oh, which Skavens sit in the Putrid Swamp, I wonder? This army is the most capable of fighting on its own, though it doesn't have much in the way of defenders. We could upgrade these guys to Longbeards, though. Or, wait. Okay, okay, fine. Upgrade you guys to some kind of melee. All these armies will eventually, yeah, you too. Upgrade to Longbeards. We actually have no other army that uses Longbeards with shields, do we? You can do Longbeards as well. Alright. And we might just make this one into a generalist army just because it's here, and then we can combine it with some troops from another army. Minus some of the regiments of renown, most likely. Ooh! Though we do have enough grudge throwers, grudge settler variant to make a slowdown army, don't we? I'm gonna have to keep that in mind, anyway. If you go into this stance, you cannot come down here. You, I assume, can? You can. It's risky, because we don't know what's at Elemento, but, well, I really don't want to lose those grudge throwers, but I'm just going to assume that you're not gonna. Alright. And then, do we head for Karak, whatever Ramaz? Maybe. Let's check out what's going on at Domatberg. With you. And, aha, we got 2 rattling armies here. Oh, wow, okay, wait. Don't declare war on Clan Fester. Heinrich Kemmler is sitting here with just a giant pile of zombies. I guess he doesn't want to advance anymore, or is he in a deadlock with another faction like these guys? Okay, you need to back off. You can't fight that. There's absolutely no way. I'd love to see Thorgrim fight those guys. I'm gonna need to deal with the Fester spike as well, so yeah, I assume that this clan is sitting here, right? Got 3 territories. So I assume Putrid Swamp and Elemento, unless this means that this is Clan Fester, and probably Karak, whatever it is. Alright, don't collect the income here for now, delete this as well. We will not be investing you as yet, but, you know, it'll eventually happen. Oh, this is also part of this territory. Yeah, this is where they are, and oh man, I don't like the proximity of these Wood Elves, which are also worth surprisingly little grudges. Okay. Anybody else need to move? Scout Silverhorn, yes, you are traveling all the way out to Albion. See if we can't get some good allies there. Yori, get gold. You are... I guess you're just gonna sit here for now. I mean, you could, you know what, go into an camp stance so you make it less likely to get ambushed, and... just go over here, or you know what? Because somebody needs to defend this territory, but I would also like to see what's over there, so just go here. We'll see. If it's a tier 5, you're probably not going to be able to take it with ease, but at the same time, you got artillery, you got a decent amount of units. We just want to consolidate here before declaring war on Kemmler with, you know, new properly built out armies. Also, wait, did we ever build a outpost with the Empire? I think we should be having enough allegiance with them. Actually, not really, but we should probably still do so. No ally missions, eh? At least not from you. Sigmarsheim. Alright, that's probably not gonna happen. What about you? This might happen. Let's do that. Oh, this is where their other territories are. They've taken Karak Norn. Fair enough. Reichland, outpost. Okay, yes, we need to build one. We'll do it at Salzenmund. Yes. And then... you... Okay, see, Nuln is not available. Where is this? Is this safe? It does give us the ability to build a lot of stuff. I'm just gonna build it here and just hope that it doesn't die. Kuran, we don't have enough allegiance to waste our money on this yet, and yeah, just the Imperials and, oh, the Orthodoxy. We actually need to upgrade this Dwarf district to tier 4 because we built it in a place that doesn't have access to frostworms, and that's the main thing that we need from you. Costly though that may have been. Alrighty, and actually while we're checking Diplo, let's, you know, check Diplo. See what we got here. Anybody new other than these guys that we've seen already? No, it doesn't look like it. Alright. Much as I'd love to get these trade agreements going, like the Golden Order, but if they attack us, they attack us. Although, we could start trading with them, and then if they break the agreement... once again, I'm worried about them holding possibly territory that should, in theory, belong to us, like Angrand. Who's holding Angrand right now? Shouldn't it be here somewhere? Was this supposed to be Angrand? Yes. Alright. I don't know. How many territories do you have? 5. Probably not holding our territories. Alright, fine. Let's do the trade agreement, and you'll give us some money for it, and then we'll eventually probably do these. And if he gets angry because we're attacking Teclis, which is a distinct possibility, then we'll see. It's more cash after all. Alright. Gotta keep up that cash flow now. Let's do a little building. Now, I think maybe we'll take this turn and this turn not build deep stuff. Or rather, invest in our actual territories, our normal, regular territories. I think it's warranted at this point. So, let's just take a quick look. I actually haven't invested in the regular territories in a while now. You will obviously need a, whatchamacallit, a trading post. Frankly, these are generating decent cash, but on the other hand, I guess what would we replace it with? I mean, we could build a deep skier instead. It's probably worth more than the 300, but I guess right now is not super critical to do that either. This place should, however, be deleted and be a post. You know what? We'll do it later as well. Keep growing. At least for now. It isn't critical that we, you know, expend cash on that right now. And what about you? We can upgrade this place because it'll give us higher level iron. We'll do you, and then we'll do the trading post here. West Darklands, we will do... Okay, it doesn't really matter which one we upgrade, so let's do you. Mine, trading post. And we'll keep you. Decent likelihood that later in the game we will probably upgrade or delete all the stone bread bakeries and replace them with either a trading post or a deep structure. But that is not necessarily right now. Cool, which is... Oh, right, we have the public order bonus from the quest, so we can leave that. This is this place, right? We should upgrade to Mortal's Hold. I don't think we need the ranger outpost here anymore, as it's not actually doing anything whatsoever. You will be replaced, and we will need a mine here. 2,000 gold. Now let's just upgrade it so we don't have to deal with it later. What about you? Upgrade the mine. Definitely go for the trading post. And we'll hold off on that because it's expensive. I mean, it's not really that expensive. It's just that I think we have better things to invest in. Glow Pit will upgrade you, and then we will go for the trading post. And leave these alone for now. They'll pay for themselves in 10 turns. I just don't think they'll be there in 10 turns, meaning they will never pay for themselves, meaning it's not a good idea to build them. Moonhowler's Camp. Cover the construction market. Might as well upgrade the Cool. We need these everywhere. Definitely the tannery, definitely the mine, and definitely the trading post. Need those everywhere after all. You, our new territory, Karaz-a-Karak, and you are generating tons of cash. We'll need to modify the way that you look. Oh, did I check the Thanes and stuff? Ooh, we got another Traumac. That was the one that was going to pop into Malachi's army, was it not? Yeah. Alright, I guess we'll wait on that. And that was Woe's End, was it not? No, I guess it was Shattered Teeth. Won't invest in you right now. Grosdrung, you are... Yeah, you're kind of in the middle of our territory, you're fine. Let's upgrade the mine, let's upgrade the Cool, and let's upgrade the trading post next here there. Probably could build a military structure or two there as well, but too late. At least this turn. Ooh, East Trollheim Mountains, you're hankering for an investment, including the Tusk Compound, and we might as well upgrade the Tower of Karak. Gotta get that public order going. You can... I mean, we still want the trading posts everywhere, so we'll build that, and then another. It's only +2 growth for all provinces, but it really will add up. If we build these in pretty much every single place. Ooh, look at these very, very cheap mines. I guess there's a... Oh, the lords are here, which they're, yeah, making everything basically free. Lovely. Do so, and then go for the trading post. Beautiful. Blistering Peaks. We can upgrade the Cool, and I think we're just about out of cash, meaning we can end another turn as soon as all of these mines are built and upgraded. And then what are you building here? I guess another trading post. We could also do the... Let's do the construction market, the Builders Guild. I actually wonder what's worth more, because the trading post is adjacency bonus, and the adjacency bonus might actually make us more money than this with the construction and the income from this particular place combined, so I'm just gonna do that. Anyway, that's about it for all the investment we can make now. Let's build this at Thunder Mountain. Frankly, you don't need this granary here. You can delete that, replace it with something else. Alright, I think that's it. So skip, and end the turn. Belagar is going to be back in a couple of turns, and we've got the armies getting ready to go. I don't think we can get attacked by anybody right now, can we? Actually, we can. Oh, right, this. Alright, let's hope that they hit Thorgrim. Master Engineer, you're saving your points for rank 20. Underway interception. Poor little Queek, he got intercepted by the gunnery army, so the gunnery army will get his defeat trait, and I guess we'll move southward to knocking his faction out for good. Complete that legendary grudge, but for now, knock out Queek. Ooh, and Clan Scryer will declare war on us with their massive empire, and Clan Pestilence will as well. This was always coming, so... Allies have refused to join your side. Chattel of Jar. I guess they have been corrupted by the Chaos Dwarfs. After all, how rude. Oh, I completely forgot that Kadriazgal, our new little grudge settler army, got attacked because it was besieging the place. Go figure. Alright, fine, fair enough, we'll fight it. Unfortunately, I doubt that we can chase down and destroy all those enemies, but we'll give it our best shot. Yeah, see, I have said I have a bad habit of forgetting about these little... leaving an army besieging stuff, but oh well, not a big deal. Should be a fun little fight anyway. Got to use those Iron Drakes and the Longbeards and such. Go.
Kill trolls, giants, dragons, a greater demon or two. Let's see what surprises today holds.
Alrighty, here we go. Just a smaller fight. We are outnumbered by a fairly large margin, perhaps, but, well, actually not really a large margin, 3 or 4 units. We are outnumbered. It is a smaller fight, and the enemy, as balance of power, it does favor the enemy. That said, it should still be very much in our favor. Gotta get the trial by fire for the unit, or for the grudge settler army as well, after all. They gotta do their thing. And we have a pretty darn good position in this particular situation, as in the middle of the map is half covered by impassable terrain, so we're gonna stand right in front of this Karak, this dwarf hold, with the eyes of the ancestors upon us, and block off the pass, meaning the enemy will have to go through our Longbeards and our Hammerers and whatnot in order to get to us, which, well, good luck to the enemy. We may not have entrench on the Iron Drakes without the heroes on the regular units, but we do have it on the Grudge Settler units, so they've got 180 range on them, which is pretty massive. So, we wish you luck to the enemy. Let's see how they manage to close the distance against 3 units of Iron Drakes. We don't have a flame cannon or a Grudge Settler gyrocopter in this army this time around, in this Grudge Settler army, so we no longer will have the ease of the Grudge Settler gyrocopter being able to obliterate enemy artillery or sniping enemy mages and stuff like that from a distance, meaning we're just going to have to deal with them in this army. Might mean we have to be a little bit more careful. On the bright side, though, the loss of the Grudge Settler gyrocopter meant the gain of an additional Iron Drake or 2, and, well, you gotta love Iron Drakes. We've been seeing them do good work throughout the entire campaign, and I will never grow tired of them. I think, like many, Iron Drakes are my favorite unit in the Dwarf army, and that's both the Flamethrower and the Trollhammer variant. They're both just so fun. Obviously, Thunder Barges are amazing as well. But you can't beat the Flamethrower units, and generally I have a penchant for spamming Flamethrower units in every faction that has them. Well, maybe not spamming them, because I don't like to overdo it, but using them as much as I find possible. Warp Fire throwers, oh, and I can't wait. We're going to play Tzeentch next, and of course, Tzeentch has like 4 or 5 variants of Flamethrower units, and we're going to have a lot of fun with those. Alright, either way, the enemy army is still attempting to approach us, and looks like the enemy Black Orc Big Boss will be able to get here. He'll take a decent bit of damage from the Iron Drakes at near point blank. But we're going to have to actually send some units to fight him. Here go the Grudge Settler Hammers, together with our Lord, the Demon Slayer, as well. And I guess another good thing about this combination is that these are the Grudge Settler hammers, and they have that Frostfire ability, which is a 30% weakness to fire damage in combination with those other units. Unlike the other army, we are also going to start sending those Slayers into combat a little bit, doing a little bit of a sort of a cycle charge through the Slayers through our own lines. The idea here is the Boar Boys charge in, their charge gets broken on the Longbeards with great weapons, with their charge reflection and their expert charge defense, and then as soon as the Orc Boys charge is broken, as soon as that happens, the Slayers charge through our lines of Longbeards, hit the Orc Boar Boys with that Cavalry Bane, start whacking away at them. As the Boar Boys back off, the Grudge Slayers can return back through our lines and await the next cycle charge. Fairly decent use of the Slayers in this way. It keeps them from taking too much damage from enemies, but allows them to deal plenty of damage as well. And it leans into that Cavalry Bane ability that they've got as well, which is nice. Anyway, gonna charge right back through our heavily armored forces and await the next charge. It does look like the enemy army has certainly reached us, especially this unit of hammers that went out to assassinate the enemy lord, together with our own lord. Definitely out in the midst of the enemy lines. Now that said, if they're out there, the Grudge Settler Iron Drakes are still able to fire away, and they're cooking many a mushroom today. Alright, the Boar Boys are on their way back. I believe the enemy lord has been defeated and the Black Orc Big Boss defeated as well. There is still another shaman running around, but, well, good luck to the shaman. Alright, Slayers have charged once more and backed off and are charging in once more to countercharge those units of Boar Boys. Alright, fairly decent strategy. The Boar Boys are out. It looks like the balance of power has shifted to about 90% in our favor now. And, ooh, that was a bad volley. Oh, that hit our own Slayers. I see a bunch of Slayers got cooked with that one. Oh, well. Yeah, definitely got to be careful with that. The Iron Drakes are very dangerous units to everybody. They're a menace. But that's the way we like them. Anyway, with that, the enemy army will shatter and the battle will be ours. Going to try to fry and cook as many of them as possible as they run because, well, this is an enemy army sallying out of their garrison. But we'll end the battle before our own Iron Drakes cook too many of these, the Grudge Settler hammers because they're in that rampage. A lovely little fight. Alright, there we go. Went decently well for us with pretty minimal losses. In fact, 31 losses and around 10 kills from the enemy, meaning that, well, we killed more of our own units, probably with one of our Iron Drakes, than the enemy did. Though, kind of used to that, I guess. Anyway, I'd love the money, but I guess we should probably heal up the Slayer unit so that it can be used, and we'll probably have to auto-resolve this, or manually fight it real quick, between the episodes, most likely. Yeah, attract replacements.
Win the battle, they will come.
There it is. The Keepers of the Mountain will indeed attack Thorgrim, rather, with most of what they've got, including the garrison and these stacks. Should be a pretty darn fun fight. I gotta say, I'm pretty excited for it. Close victory, medium casualties. Now we'll see about that. I don't know if that Terrorgeist can manage to bring down any of our aerial units, but it can try with all of the bats that it's got in tow. Go.
Dowie, let us wipe them out. Take up your axes and seek glory in death.
Alrighty, here we go. We've got our flyers into the underway, which is an interesting idea, especially for the big ol' Thunder Barge, and the Thunder Barge, and our now increased numbers of gyrocopters and gyro bombers, looking pretty darn good in this particular battle, together with especially our melee units. I'm very excited to face off against just a ludicrous amount of undead here. We will be fighting plenty of them. Plus, this is the debut battle of the Skyhammer Squadron Gyro Bombers, so we're going to have to try to let them. Do some good work. Anyway, we're going to speed this up while we get a little bit closer to the enemy. I was hoping to find a sort of portion of the battlefield which was a little bit lighter to fight on. But there isn't a big enough sort of a light area on the map, so what can you do? Anyway, the enemy... Oh, wow, okay. The poor Terrorgeist heads towards us. Unfortunately, we hit it with that big old harpoon from Thorgrim's Thundercloud, and then that loses it like 60% of its HP, and then a couple more volleys from our gyrocopters and bomber, and they're done. Or the Terrorgeist is destroyed. Alright, the rest of the enemy army is slowly moving towards us, and while we may not have a sort of traditional missile line, we do have the aerial missile line as well. And I was intending to also build, well, I was talking about various generalist armies that I want to do. I did want to do one that had a bunch of different missile troops mixed together. Basically all the missile troops mixed together. Obviously we can't use every single one because I think there's like 20 different missile troops in the Dwarfen roster if we count them all. But anyway, the mix of them together with the gyrocopters and flyers all in a line rather than harassing the enemy from a distance will be pretty neat. Speaking of pretty neat, the gyro bomber, the Skyhammer Squadron will get its first attack off. And while that didn't maybe look like a crazy amount, look at the HP on all those zombies and skeletons. That's one use of the Skyhammer bomb. 612 kills and 669 nice damage in 66,000, nearly 67,000 damage on that. It's a sort of split shot bomb with multiple projectiles. I mean, it says number of projectiles 1, but it seems to have like a shrapnel effect going or something, because it does look like it drops multiple hits. Anyway, I did say that since this is this bomber's debut, it's got to have a proper debut, so while the rest of the army holds back the tide, this thing's going to move along the enemy line and drop those bombs. Now, see, that's 4 projectiles. I saw 4 projectiles. I didn't see 1. Oh, maybe because the Skyhammer Squadron is supposed to have 4 units. It drops 4 bombs, but it's 1 unit that's dropping 4 bombs as well. Is it 4 units in vanilla and then 1 unit in SFO? I don't remember anymore. Not that it matters over much. Anyway, 2 more bomb drops and up to 1,500 kills and 160,000 damage. Fair bit, admittedly, but the endless tides of shambling dead are, well, if not quite endless in this one battle. There's a lot of them. Now, in the meantime, Thorgrim has moved out ahead of the rest of his army, as we like to do with him, especially since he countercharged those vampires. He's getting double-teamed by a couple of Strigoi here. Slaneshi Giggle, obviously. But I think that they stand no chance. And one is down to half HP. In fact, they're both down to half HP. And of course, we've got the range damage from all of our gyrocopters flying around all over the place as the enemy army moves in to fight. Felix and Gotrek will try to deal with the enemy corpse guard and knock out that unholy lodestone so it doesn't support the enemy anymore. Bombs coming down from our Thorgrim's Thunder Barge flying overhead. Thorgrim has defeated the first of the enemy lords. I guess there's 2 more after this one, as in after the second one. But he had no problem. The Strigoi are really having a difficult time dealing with Thorgrim's defenses. He's got 101 melee defense without any buffs, as in we don't have anything like Stand Your Ground active. They're just not getting through that, and neither are the skeletons. And frankly, while Thorgrim does that, the skeletons will be taking damage from the Rune of Spite anyway, while he kills off the enemy lord, the enemy's second lord. In the meantime, more and more undead are rushing towards our lines of horribly outnumbered hammerers. Horribly outnumbered, but never out-hammered, either in the manner of being drunk or in the manner of having those big old bonkin' hammers. And bonk they shall, and I guess the sort of yellow color scheme that we've got going on this particular enemy faction makes them pretty darn nice and visible in this particular battlefield, which I like. Alrighty, big old line is still engaged. Enemy reinforcements still moving onto the field. Plenty more undead where that came from, which is why we weren't worried about dropping bombs with our gyro bomber, using those Zufbar 42-pounders through the enemy line. All of it is just a small percentage of the sheer amount of enemies. Now this is a proper fight against the undead, and I do like that it's in the underway as well, meaning meaning the enemy are concentrated in bigger blobs, which is working for us. Big old Spirit Leech hits our Thorgrim's Thundercloud, but it's going to be relatively minimal damage. It's got 50% spell resistance. Shouldn't be too big of a deal here. And it will, of course, continue to drop bombs and every other thing that it does on the enemy main line as it hovers overhead. There we go. Oh, and it looks like some flying units have at last made it onto the battlefield. We're going to get a few volleys from our gyrocopters at them, but in this particular battle, the gyrocopters are functioning as a range line rather than as harassing troops, so they're just going to stand there, or, well, hover there, instead of running away, and they're going to fight the enemy bats in melee. I'm sure they'll be pretty okay with it, though. They've got 57 melee attack, and as long as they're winning decisively, they also have that trait, the best defense thing, plus 25 armor, up to 165, and the bats are not getting through 165 armor. Ain't no way. Gotrek in the middle of the fray as well. Looks like he's having some fun. All right, not having a great time finding his doom, but you know what? That's kind of on brand for him. So, is Gotrek the worst Slayer in history? Oh well. Anyway, and wait. Oh, okay. What the heck? I thought these are pieces of these are the blades of the spirit hosts. I was like, from a distance, they looked like the balefire glow of the eyes of the undead. Just generally speaking, zombies, skeletons, what have you. And I was like, why are there a bunch of eyes in the ground? But it wasn't eyes, or is it? Anyway. The enemy army, or the numbers, are now starting to dwindle. The balance of power is at about 90% in our favor now, and Thorgrim moves through the rest of the enemy army, doesn't care about them. He is quick after all, and charges towards that enemy Necro, who has no hopes of escaping. One bonk to the top of the Necro's head takes half of his HP out. One more bonk brings him out. He actually whiffed on that one by the looks of it. Okay, there we go. Another bonk brings him down to 10% of his HP, and the Necro will go down before the High King. Pathetic. Alright, with the fall of the Necro, good binding still. Lord recently died. Alright, well, okay, there we go. It took a little bit of a delay before the remaining units realized it. Graveguard are still marching towards us, but they're going to start falling apart. Unfortunate for them, because the enemy might have tired our units out to some degree. Well, I mean, in theory. We have all that vigor loss reduction, meaning our hammers can fight all day. But generally speaking, it's a great strategy for the undead to tire the enemy army out with skeletons and zombies, and then bring in the Graveguard and the other elite units to deliver the final blow. And just cleaning up the last of the enemy units here. Ah, what a fun fight. We do have other Vampire Counts factions. Kemmler is fairly nearby, as we saw, so we'll probably get into some nice big old fights with him. The Sires of Morcaine are near Joseph of Zorn, and, well, obviously, now that we have Ungrim Confederated, we have a massive border with Sylvania as well. And if we want to make sure that the Umgi of the Empire survive to, buy our beer and give us their gold, then we should probably make sure that they don't get overrun by the Chaos and the Zanganas. Anyway, very nice fight. Oh, there we go. Very, very nice. I love fighting the rats. I really, really do love fighting the rats, no doubt about it. But there's nothing quite like fighting the endless hordes of shambling dead. It's just too fun. And 10,000 of them were arrayed against us here as well. 10,136 for 4. pretty decent. Still have to be writing some grudges for those 4 losses, but pretty decent. Massive amounts of, well, kills on everybody. There were plenty to go around. Thorgrim got nearly 300 to 60,000 damage. He's been doing a pretty great job. 11,000 on Gotrek, a little bit of damage on Felix, 41k and nearly 500 kills on our Everguard with shields, but they're in the center of the formation, so it kind of makes sense. Our other units, Thorgrim's Grudgebearers, Mountain Breakers, Sons of Jorajgrund, and Kneecap Breakers all got 3 to 500 kills as well. But yeah, the debut of the Skyhammer Squadron saw it slay nearly 2,000, 20% of the enemy number, and get 200,000 kills. Those Skyhammer bombs being very aptly named. And it's not like the Thorgrim's Thundercloud was any slouch either. 100,000 damage and 900 kills as well. And all of the flyers did well. Everybody did well. Very, very happy with the whole thing. Alright, oh, I was wondering where this thing was. The loss of research rate is going to be a little bit annoying, but what can you do? Might as well get, well, now that we have all the legendary lords, could get that profit buff up and running and get a little bit of extra XP on everybody to level them all up. I hear them, sure. I guess. Alrighty, ally begins construction. There's that vermin flail for Mr. Finn and his gunnery army, which is just about ready. He's also a kidnapper now. And another crown of command, another seat of rebirth. That's a good one. And Karaz-a-Karak unit, Clan Pestilence will join. Yeah. Ally loses outpost, Chattel of Jar. Well, yeah, okay. Wait. Oh, their outpost was in Karak-Kadrin. I thought that was Karaz-a-Karak, and I was confused there briefly. And damn, even, oh. Right, we will need to do another quest because the Confederation debuff is still being reasonably significant. While failing all over the place, ally mission successful for a bunch of factions because we had to fight all those undead. Hey, an archivist. Powdermaker, Stonemason, Anvil of Doom for Oldest. Still a very amusing name, at least to me. Now, we need 2 more things to get to Ancestral Tombs. We will... maybe we could still get heavy plate armor. I do like the reload time of reduction for the field engineers. The thing is, not sure it's as well. Keep reduction for these guys is decent, but we're making a fair chunk of change at this point in time. So soon enough, the upkeep reductions won't mean nearly as much as they did. Anyway, Thorgrim, starting with you again, sir. Kill off the remnants here. And quick save for obvious reasons. This will probably do more damage than the actual fight did, because I don't think it's going to be less than 4 losses. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was never going to happen, game. Why must you lie? Armor of Fortune, good pickup though. And a stonemason, there's that armor, and hey, we got a, ooh, should we get a celebration? Yes, we should. And beautiful, we've had that grudge for a while. I'll give it a read, too. As seen by Thungni's raging glare, innocent Dowie traveling through Stirland have been taken over by the von Karstein Zangunas and slain. We've already read this. Never mind. Alright. And similarly, we'll occupy the place. Oh, I'm surprised the guy didn't leave through the port. Huh. Go figure. Okay, well. Nobody better die. Okay. Game. Okay, occupy the place. Not that we were necessarily looking for territory here, but yeah, then I uncollect the income and I guess build... yeah, just build it. Immediately to tier 3. You wouldn't be able to be close to go to tier 5 anyway, huh? We'll grab this shipwreck before we move on to Magrukan, which is pretty darn decently defended with a very elite garrison, significantly more so than the battle that we fought with the presence of two units of... You're supposed to become a gyro bomber. Might as well do it now so that you can heal up while we're here. I assume they're not going to attack you. There we go. Now we're just waiting for one more gyro bomber and the rest of the Everguard. What was I saying? These guys got some Blood Knights in here. It's a tier 5, so yeah. Actually, Thorgrim is quite close to Nagashazar now. I was going to have him deal with this. Actually, speaking of this. Mark's Club. I'm gonna risk auto-resolving. I'm just gonna hope that it doesn't... it's gonna heavily damage those Slayers, isn't it? And we still got 19 turns of this army. Man, only 2%. Iffy. Definitely iffy. Maybe I'll fight this between the episodes. I'll see. We'll see if we have time in terms of this particular episode. How are we doing down here? Still okay. You are going to go to Darkhold. What do we have in terms of defenders? I mean, they're decent, but they're not much. We should probably be able to do it just fine. We have no defensive structures here, so we are free to besiege it and attack it. I'll leave you there for now. I'll try not to forget about you like I did everybody else. Ulfar Norgrimling, you were going to build some flame cannons, I believe, originally, and possibly some Iron Drakes, so now that we've acquired Iron Drakes via the Confederation, no longer as necessary as it once was. Go this way. Yeah, you know what, don't risk traveling to these guys' territory. Go this way. I'm now wondering whether you actually need to recruit those flame cannons for King Azrael. I mean, we could do 2, maybe. I don't actually know how many we'll be using, or whether we'll be using that many at all. It remains to be seen, but, well. You keep moving forward. Moonstone Mountain on the menu, and just... You know what, I think I'd rather have you deliver... deliver Mr. Garrigram for now, so you're just gonna move. And we can have somebody else build it. Oh, are we trespassing here? No, we are not. We're friendly. Okay, good. Good. Joseph of Zorn, you're fine. Snorri Morgrimal, you're traveling up north to transfer to Hungrim as well. You'll be traveling a while, I'm sure. Dwinbar Ranulfson. Let's start moving you down this way. Towards the... okay, I guess towards Bone Gulch first, and then you can follow. And we still need to knock out all of this, and we could also use you to fight some elves. That would make for a very different opponent than you've been fighting so far. Against Khorne, you're pretty good because you're heavily armor-piercing, and Khorne is all melee. The elves, however, will probably have a lot of range units available to them. Well, no probably about it, and would thus outrange our various units here. It would force us to essentially split up the army. Though splitting up the army is generally efficient, and I would do it more if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, we're trying to get some... I mean, it's a Let's Play, so... battle's gotta be watchable. Also, do you have a Thane with you? You do have a Thane with you, good. And a Runesmith. Let's check the engineers. You still need the Thane, so let's get the Traumac one up and running. And Master Engineers, Harazi, Entrenched, and Wayfarer. You know what, maybe we'll just forego the... Wait, how many... just because of its capacity? Oh, just the 1. What are you again, Runesmith? You know what, let's just have both of you join this army and we'll wait for another engineer. It's not like you desperately need it. It's not like you won't be fine without it. And at the same time, I wouldn't know what to be deleting here anyway, at least at the moment. Grimly, you're more in need of an engineer, I would say. And we also need to figure out where we're going to send you. I mean, is Sarthoriel? Yeah, it is Sarthoriel. And Azeg, are they both working together? Are they allied? They are allied. Chaos and Orcs, eh? Like, yeah, that happens. Alright, so as long as we're not at war with these guys, we're free to jump down to start attacking Sarthoriel, mostly because we need to knock the faction out. So you're after building stuff, because you can make it free. Build these, well... yeah, build them here and then we'll delete them later. Build the mines for now. I was gonna say we should build the trading posts instead, but, you know. Alright. And then jump down to... did your movement range increase? I thought you could only go here before. Am I crazy or did it just do that? Actually, we should probably go after their capital, so let's go down to Svedora first. Ooh. Yeah, these guys are worth a decent amount. We're gonna need it. 2%. I still think it's probably not going to happen this time around, but once again, we'll do our best. Grimly. Now, we can get engineers anywhere, so we can make one up here and then have them meet you rather than staying here, and I think I'd prefer to do that. So let's build the feast hall for free, let's build the Goro mine, and then leave. We got to travel up north. There is also these territories, but it looks like Borsursus has taken one, and the scaling are very much on the way. Oh! This used to be the scaling. They got confederated by Wintertooth, so it's not scaling anymore. Alright. Let's see who else needs to move. That was Grimly. Braun Hammerfist obviously does not. Finn. And you need to pick up the rest of your forces, so go here. And you get your first engineer. You are waiting for your second. This was a bomber engineer? Yeah, the flash bomb one. Metal slinger. We don't have another metal slinger one. We want the entrenched one up and running, but we don't have additional capacity, so for now just transfer. And we'll get another engineer in this army later on. Like, half of our armies are now moving around with 19 units because they're all waiting on engineers. And Sundram Cromson, I believe you are no longer needed here, right? You were just the temporary lord used to recruit stuff, so we can actually reset you. We might use you, I'm not entirely sure about it, but we might. Alright, might as well build stuff here. Not free, but, you know. Still good. It's just a little expensive. It's still good. It's still good. Alrighty, and who's up next? Thugni of Zorn, Rearguard Asgal, oh wait, Thugni of Zorn, I should have actually moved you. You were supposed to go to Horrocks Camp. Horrocks Gap, rather. And yes, we will still evolve this guy's army, don't worry. Alright, obviously we'll auto-resolve this a waste of time. I would like to fight some sort of proper ogre faction, though, so if we do end up getting into combat with Greasus, maybe that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world anymore. There's something for this army to cut its teeth on when it evolves into a proper stack. Obviously, it hasn't had any real battles, and so there hasn't been any real need to do so. Let's upgrade the wine, I would say, here, and let's get a mine while we're here, and I mean, this place probably won't have a lot of adjacency, but it'll still have some, and we still need the control faction wide, so that hasn't changed. And we'll build the Urkul there as well. Alright, as for Slave Taker's Camp, we can transfer it to you and max out your territory. Slave Taker's Camp, and give us all your money. You're not gonna need it. This is the right place, right? Yes. Alright, random little Bretonian faction nestled in the mountains of Morn. Heck of an errantry since they traveled so far. Ooh, I see that we got missions now. Reichland. More turns until outpost. Let's do whatever we can take, I guess. Alright, those were the only options. I would also like to see, is anybody in position to recruit? Okay, you, I just want to check something. Not the allegiance with you. The Ice Court. Okay, not ready for the 4th Frostworm. What about the Great Orthodoxy? We're still waiting to build the 4th, well, we're still building, waiting to upgrade the outpost. So no dice, Reichland waiting on the outpost of Island, and none waiting on the outpost as well. You guys will once again be on the, well, we'll be using units from you in various armies. Thorak. Huh. These guys' main stack ran away rather than fight these guys directly. I'm perfectly happy with that. You know what, maybe we will move into the mountains and start taking their mountain territories then. Go for Withered Eye Hold. And let's eye that petroleum there. Guess something to do, set up a base on our way to Cairo. Still have to knock him out though. He will do something annoying. Like, cause us to lose one of our alliances. I guarantee it. Maybe we shouldn't go after these guys and should just book it towards Kairos. Ugh. Alright, well, either way, Vikram Burdrick, you are moving southward. Still gotta get to Thorgrim, it's gonna be a bit. And then we'll wait one turn and then do another quest. I mean, yeah, at the start of next episode. I did say I'd like to do one quest per episode if possible. Malachi, you're stuck where you are until we get this Thane joining your army, and then possibly another engineer. Frankly, we need a second engineer would be worth a lot more than a Thane. Mostly we're using the Thanes for the purpose of... Oh, you should be in mining camp stance. Mostly the Thanes... Were you not in mining camp stance before? Huh. Maybe I accidentally took him out of it. I assume the others are in mining camp stance, right? Yeah. I don't know what that was up. Where we're using mostly Thanes for the post-battle loot, and Malachi doesn't really need that, and we're moving into the portion of the game where that is going to be less and less necessary for us. Granted, it's still very expensive to build the deeps and stuff, but, you know, ooh, Grim. Do we have another fight here? Do we have time for another fight here is the question. I don't know. But I would like to fight, and this is Ungrim's last fight before we snap him out of it, as in we transfer, well, we reset him, so yeah, I might as well do it. Let's do a fight. Alrighty, and this is low casualties even against Slayers. Okay, maybe it's not worth our time then. We'll do the other fight instead of this one. It'll be the exact same as the previous fight, except with no biggins and no black orcs and no elite units. The enemy stands no chance. Yeah, when even the Slayer army barely takes any damage, that's a cause for concern. A Brewmaster for Snorri, not useful on you. Can keep the Guildmaster though, and keep the rest. And Stonemason, and now Province Peak Pass secured. Beautiful, and Iron Skins destroyed. You see how that's done, Ungrim? I don't know why it was taking you so long to do the same, but, well, it certainly was. Speaking of Ungrim, you are going to... Alright, we're gonna reset you. Right. Alright, do we have any free lords that would work? I don't think we have any free demon... we can use a Demon Slayer for you. He's level 4 though, so it won't do anything for us, will it? And we got 2 turns until Belagar, alright. Well, we can keep leveling up more. Oh, right, Morgus Death Dealer. No, we'll use him for another purpose. Let's just do a regular lord for now. High Lord, we'll use Alaric Ranulfson for this.
Ready.
Reset. And Alaric Ranulfson. You're in. Granted, this will mean that the upkeep has jumped by like 2,000 gold, but you know, it is what it is. Also, the incisive guy, he was supposed to take command of this army, and will do so now. It's not like there's any slayers here, so we will replace. Well, we'll reset you because you have a bunch of random stuff, and yeah, okay. And you will be replaced by Morgus Death Dealer, who has a bunch of nice stuff, including the rat buff, the Craven by name, plus 10% speed. Which with Grimbrindle's speed bonus, and soon, or well, not Grimbrindle's speed bonus, with the speed bonus soon offered by Ungrim, will be quite nice. Anyway, I wanted to fight one more fight, though we are effectively out of time, and I besieged something. Alright, we could fight this. It's a siege, but you know what? This army might struggle a little bit more in a siege than it would otherwise, so let's do it. I think this one is the one to do. Darkhold and the destruction of House Berserk, and the first of the Chaos Dwarfs destructions. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Joseph of Zorn and his Jartrom army are, well, they found burning greenskins and burning rats enjoyable, but they also found it far too easy, and they want to fight something with a little bit more oomph and a little bit more fire resistance, and just so that they can enjoy and draw out the process of killing them a little bit longer. As sadistic as that sounds. I've also been thinking, once again, with the community canon and just generally sort of having these stories of our legendary lords, our legendary groups and units, etc., like the Jartrom clan and stuff, evolve over time. I'm thinking, since we're adding Mr. Herrick Grundadrak, our very first Grudge Settler lord, to the community canon. And he was part of a very fire sort of focused army, that he can be a Jartrom Slayer. And I'm thinking that we modify their story slightly by saying that those sort of higher-ups in the clan that eventually learn the dark origins of the Jartrom clan and their relation to the Chaos Dwarfs, it makes for a fairly high incidence of Slayer Oaths being taken among them, because dwarfs tend to take the Slayer Oaths when they snap, and being related to the oath-breaking Chaos Dwarfs may be just enough to make a few more Slayers than normal. Plus, I kind of like the idea, and I know I shouldn't mention Age of Sigmar or anything, that there's a high incidence of Slayers in a fire army, you know, fire Slayers. So yeah, I like this whole thing. Everything's coming together. Glory to Jartrom. Anyway, speaking of, looks like the enemy battlements are going to be brought down with a reasonable quickness. We're going to make a couple breaches in the walls. The towers are gone. There is a couple of unbreakable walls here because it is a corner, but oh well. We bring down the gate, we breach in a few more places, and oh, That unit of Chaos Dwarf Warriors is destroyed, huh? It looks like when the gate got destroyed, they fell through it. Well, sucks to be them, or sucks to have been them, because they're mostly dead. Anyway, gonna keep making sure we burn those Chaos Dwarfs. We brought fire to the Darklands, and it's working out pretty well. Just gotta make sure not to set that big old oil slick we're standing on fire. On the other hand, we could just do it for aura purposes and just walk through the flames as we walk towards the enemy unit. Or the enemy army. Would be pretty neat as well. Also, man, well, I think I said it in one of the earlier battles, but I'm really enjoying the variety we've been getting in this campaign after mid-game. I mean, just this episode, we fought Skaven, we fought Chaos Warriors, we fought Orcs, we fought Khorne, we fought Vampire Counts, and now we're fighting Chaos Dwarfs. It's fantastic. Every army's fighting a different faction, and it's absolutely glorious. Alright, anyway, we are soon going to start moving into the enemy settlement. They've been thoroughly weakened at this point by all the fire from the flame cannons, though we could just keep upping the ammunition and keep burning them. All of that fire resistance is not going to mean too much when we reduce it considerably. 25 and 10%. Yeah, I was originally going to put some hammers with that 30% fire resistance on them in this army as well, but so few enemies actually reach our melee line in this army that it probably isn't as needed. It'll be more effective, I think, in King Azrael's army. And the Frostfire thing will hit hard, I'm sure, as well. Anyway, balance of power is at about 70-75% in our favor. Now the enemy does drop a nice Searing Doom upon our Thunderous Drake guns just as they stop moving. Not a bad use of this one. Let's just speed it up a teensy bit while we get ready to move through the, well, sort of through. Not gonna be quite into the enemy settlement yet. We're going to just position this unit of Iron Drakes in Needle Light to fire through those gates. There we go. Perfect. And those poor blunderbusses. Milling around, they know they can't stand on top of the walls to fire down upon us. And as soon as they move into range or past this gate, they get hit with all those flames. Alrighty, and these two units of blunderbusses are done for. This one's pretty much done for as well. Ooh, looks like a unit of Chaos Dwarf Warriors attempts to charge back through the breach to get towards our Iron Drakes, but the Iron Drakes burn them. I mean, you don't want to charge through a fire tunnel like this. Seems like a kind of bad idea. Believe it or not, that thing's walking on air as he charges into the enemy settlement and starts facing off against some of those Chaos Dwarf Warriors. Alright, now the Thane is the first of our units in the enemy settlement, but not the last, as the Drake guns and more Iron Drakes start moving in here. Gonna start the good old-fashioned shootout, Drake guns versus enemy blunderbusses. But the stopping power and the unit formation disruption of the Iron Drakes and the Drake guns is making them have a very difficult time actually firing. We've definitely experienced the same thing ourselves with our range units. So nice to give the enemy a little bit of a taste of that for once. Alright, does look like this unit of Chaos Dwarf Warriors might be able to reach the Drake guns. They are heavily damaged. And they will reach us with about 10% HP remaining. But that's alright, I don't think that's going to be nearly enough for them. I'm gonna take up a new position as more units stream in, including the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass here, which we always put in this army. Alright, I saw one shot from the enemy blunderbusses, but they're having a very, very difficult time. Yeah, not to be underestimated, the formation disruption of these units. Knocking the enemy around like this and preventing them from firing is like a range counter, which is pretty interesting. I gotta remember that. It's also preventing the units from closing the distance. Flammable reduces their speed, and Chaos Dwarfs, and I guess Dwarfs in general, are pretty darn slow. Plus getting knocked back, they're having a pretty bad day. Anyway, ooh, there's another bit of a shootout. This time we don't have a unit of Iron Drakes to stop these blunderbusses firing, so they were able to get a few shots off on those Drake guns, but the Drake guns hit them in the front, and then the gyrocopters hit them in the back, and then this one unit that was able to actually fire, it gets obliterated instead. The enemies continue to try to make their way down the ramp, but get burninated just as they arrive. This is a horrifying, horrifying day for the Chaos Dwarfs. You call yourselves Fire Dwarfs? Alright, and with that, the Fire Dwarfs break and drown in the flames that they are named after. There we go. Decisive victory. Glory to Chartrum. Alright, and there we go. The poor little Chaos Dwarf stood no chance whatsoever. Minor little shootout between one of the units of blunderbusses and the Thunderos with the Drake guns, but ultimately the enemy could do little to nothing. The Chartrum have brought fire to the Darklands, and not the cursed fires of Hashut, but the blessed fires of the ancestor god's divine spark, which originated their clan. I like it. Alright, decisive victory, and we'll occupy the place. House of Berserk should be destroyed, and we had some missions successful, which is good. Certainly needed the additional allegiance, and we will pop you immediately into Steel and Stone, and then next turn we will do a quest, and that'll fix your... fix all the public order and whatnot here. Anyway, folks, with that, we are very much out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. So next time, Joseph Zorn will move southward and burn down the remnants of the Greenskins at Omdra's lair before moving on to the undead at the Sires of Morcaine. Fire certainly does work well against the undead. Thorgrim will move down, I guess, to the gates of Nagashazar to wipe out Queek's faction for good, and finally complete our first legendary grudge in the form of the 8 Peaks Grudge, though we are very much on the way to completing the Retake the Realms Part 2 as well, and should be well within capability of doing so during the 20 turns of this Age of Reckoning. And the 8 Peaks Grudge will also... where is it? Oh, it's right here. Will also give us the additional Grudge Settler capacity, and it'll give us additional hero capacity, more engineers, because it'll complete the short victory condition next time around. I was expecting to get it like 3 episodes ago, but Queek is way further south than I expected him to be. Otherwise, King Azrael is now moving towards Moonstone Mountain first and to claim Mount Gunbad, but eventually towards the Silver Pinnacle, which is his goal, though at the same time, obviously, he needs some adjustment in terms of his army. Slayer army will be continued to be leveled and built up and move southward. We've also got the minor holds here, so we'll keep consolidating until we get some of the legendary and properly built out lords ready to move out here. Should probably also start recruiting Joseph Bugman's army, as we're probably ready for it and are pretty safe in terms of generating the amount of money that we need to get it operational. Anyway, lots more realms to retake, so stay tuned for more Dwarfs. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the longer episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.